I'm supposed to say, so
you got this?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you prepared.
Oh, I'm ready.
You prepared. Let's hear it.
All right. What's up, Brodey?
What's up, buddy? How are you, Michael?
I'm doing well, man.
Oh wait, I spoiled it. Introduce yourself.
Oh yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, there you go.
Spoiled it.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Good.
It's been like 2 weeks since we recorded, so I'm
for
out
real?
of practice.
Man, I figured you were booked out since I think we talked in March or April, and you're like, I was like, yeah, dude, like, let me know when I can come on the podcast, and then you sent me one for September, and I was like, all right, like, I'll.
Yeah, it's kind of backfired a little bit. So we did 2 a week, all the way till 2 weeks from now is the last of what I scheduled when I was hitting everybody up. And freaking the last like month, it's been real hit or miss.
Yeah,
because it's just people were saying yes months ago,
right?
And so I get it. But yeah, it's been like real hit and miss. So there's some days that we have somebody, and then there'll be some people that have to reschedule, and we still got to reschedule everybody that we need to reschedule. But yeah, no, we've had pretty much 2 a week since March. We're 2 weeks away from 1 a week. Oh, thank God.
Yeah, I was gonna say that is.
It's a lot.
That's a lot of talking.
Yeah, it's a lot of talking, but then also that part. It's like, whatever, I talk all day. I'm kind of used to it.
Yeah.
But we only post once a week. So we have like 8 on deck at all times.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
And so, like, this episode won't come out until like 4 or 5 weeks from today.
Okay.
And what's kind of been happening for me personally, I get kind of weird because we'll talk about something kind of political or something real divisive. Mm-hmm. But it was 6 weeks ago, and people are just hearing it now 6 weeks later, and it's like, I'll re-listen to it, and I'll be like, fuck, I don't even think that way. Like, I don't even feel like that no more. Like, that's not even how I feel no more. And so I'm like, so then I get stressed out about it, and then I get self-conscious, and I'm like, oh, shit, dude, these people probably think I'm a piece of shit. I said this 6 weeks ago, but it's just not true anymore, and it's like, then the episode comes out, and I'm like, but yeah.
Yeah. No, that's, at least you can admit that, because I think a lot of people just go like, no, I said that, I'm gonna stick to it. I think that's a huge problem in like politics right now. But
I would agree, people just hold on, and they're just like, nope, this is how I believe, this is what I believe in, and you ain't changing it. Yeah. And so that's kind of how it's been, especially with the COVID talk. I'm kind of over it. So if we can just not.
You want to talk about that for about an hour today?
No,
like,
we can just not.
We can talk about new normal, what it's going to look like, the Delta variant, vaccines, no vaccines.
The new normal, though, we were talking about that at work because that directly affects us. We don't get paid till it gets delivered.
Oh, for real?
And shit's like anywhere from 2 to 6 months.
Yeah, because y'all's supply line is like super messed up right now.
Yeah, plastered. It's destroyed, and we're still one of the best.
Yeah,
like, we can still give dates. Whereas most companies right now can't give you a date today.
Yeah.
They take your money, they call you in 4 weeks, and then give you 3 months from now.
Right.
Versus at least we can give you a pretty close date. And so we're still doing the best in that regards. And it's like, man, I got $400,000 waiting to be delivered. It's just like, dude. And we give these people who come in, we talk about this is beating a dead horse at this point, but people with like an accent chair emergency.
Yeah.
Or I legit had someone with a coffee table emergency, and I even asked him straight to his. I was like, you can have it in 4 days. He was like, well, I was looking for something today, and I was like, are you having a coffee table emergency? And he said, yes. And I said, wait, really? I was so blown away that he admitted it.
Yeah, that's I don't know, at that point, just going on like Facebook Marketplace, and
Dude,
it's like you're just like find
what are you doing?
Find it for cheap. Yeah.
Why are you going to a showroom? And like, I want to take it today. It's like, come on, man. Like, come on. You bought here like 6 times. You know that's not how it works.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, and that's enough of that.
Yeah. So you want me to introduce myself? We can backtrack a little bit. I was like, I don't want to be that guy that like interrupts like right away, but like, might as well.
Dude, tangent. Dude, this is all this is. It's just one big tangent.
No, that's great.
Go for it.
All right. So my name is Michael Harris. I don't know what do you want me to talk about about myself?
Say whatever you want. I'm still laughing.
Jordan's like losing it over here.
Dude, I completely forgot where we were. I'm not gonna lie.
Jordan's like 3 hours into this. Dude, you really do need that one podcast a week.
Dude, for real. This is one little bit of bang. I'm like, let's fucking go. Oh up. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
So, I guess my profession, I'm a wealth manager at a private firm out in Cedar Park, Texas, where we really do anything financial when it comes to personal portfolio management, retirement planning, small business plans, and then we're consultants for a few different things, including 401ks, and then I do a little bit on the private equity side for a guy who gets quite a bit of deal flow. He'll just like send companies to me and say, hey, do you like this company? Do you think it has potential? You know, and then we'll put it kind of through our screening process, and then I'll go back to him and say, this isn't necessarily an official recommendation, but if this was my money, this is what I would do.
This is what I would do.
Yeah,
that makes sense. And how'd you get into that?
So I graduated from Texas A&M in 2017.
Okay.
And it was either I was going to join the military or I was going to become a financial advisor. So pretty much the same things, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Complete opposites.
And man, I'll tell you what, huge kind of like blessing in disguise. I got the opportunity to work out with some guys who are doing some really fast-paced stuff in the military right now, and did a few workouts with them. I was like, man, I'm not cut out for this.
Oh,
like,
stop it, dude, you're a beast.
No,
Every
dude.
day I check the next day. I'm like, oh, well, Michael Harris beat me. And I'll check and I'll be like, God damn, he didn't just beat me. He just fucking slaughtered me.
No,
like,
no.
what?
So we can talk about like performance and stuff like that, but when it comes to the dudes that I was working out with, it was like we would go work out in like shorts and a t-shirt and like boots and stuff, and they're like, all right, we're gonna army crawl or we're gonna bear crawl for 3 miles today. And I'm at like the very
absurd.
I'm like, yeah, and it's like 32 degrees outside.
Yeah.
And so like I'm like crying at the very back of the pack, and I'm like, it's not for me. Like y'all are better physically, mentally. Like I'll give it to y'all.
That's
like,
absurd.
Y'all go do what you want to do.
Did you finish?
I think I made it like a mile and a half, and then like we had like I got time cap basically. So like they were way ahead of me. Like I couldn't even see them. Yeah. So I made like maybe a mile and a half, and I'm very proud of that mile and a half.
Fuck yeah, I would be too.
And then
that's still absurd.
The next morning I was like, my alarm went off because we worked out at like 5 a.m.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna enjoy the last like senior bit of college, and that's not for me anymore. So
that dream
straight out. Oh, for sure.
Straight out the window.
It was way better than like, I don't know, joining and then like quitting and like, I don't know, having to get through that. So I did meet an advisor I guess it was junior year of college at like the career fair, right? There's a million different companies there, and you just like talk to an advisor. He's like, it's the best job ever, because that's what every advisor says. And then you actually like start doing it, and you're like, oh man, definitely
this kind of blows.
Yeah, this kind of sucks. But I signed on with a really solid company, and then got all my licensing, and they paid me to study, and then I moved out to Arizona for a little bit. I was there for 4 months, and while I was out there, I went through their training program. Then an office became available for me to take over in the Steiner Ranch area. So I moved out to Austin in 2018, and I've been here ever since. And 2018 was a wild year, and I mean, we can kind of dive into that a little bit later on, but a lot happened, a lot of growth has happened since then. So very, very grateful for it.
So you were in College Station first, going to A&M. Where did you live before that?
Yeah, so I grew up in Kingwood, Texas.
Okay.
Born in Pasadena.
Okay.
And I lived there for 4 years, so I don't remember like anything.
Fair enough.
And then moved to Arkansas for a year, which was like awesome.
You know, dude, Arkansas slept on.
Dude, it like
it's really pretty in Arkansas.
Oh yeah, and I was like out in kind of the country.
Okay.
Like we were best. It was. I feel like every Disney movie that you see, it was basically like that, where we would like go hang out with. And it was 5, right? But we would just like hop on our bikes and like go, bike ride in the wilderness, and like we were just like outside all the time. And then my dad had the opportunity to move back, and so we moved to Kingwood, which is the northeast side of Houston.
Yep.
And so I still tell people that I'm from Houston. My girlfriend gets very upset.
Everybody does.
Yeah, my girlfriend lives like downtown Houston. She's like, you're not from Houston. I was like, yeah, I am. Like, like I'm from. I might have been 45 minutes away, but I'm still from Houston. Now? Yeah, she's down there. So we've been dating about as long as like you and your girl have been. I guess like the second go around.
So.
But yeah, so I graduated high school there,
Mm-hmm.
and then I went and played Division III tennis for a small school called Austin College up in Sherman, Texas.
Okay.
Realized there I'm not the most like, I went for like pre-med, and I was just like, I'm gonna be a doctor.
It's a lot of science.
Yeah, and I got buddies who they are doctors now, and Lord bless them, they're crushing it, and I'm tremendously proud of them. But the Lord was very nice and let me know freshman year, like, this isn't it. So
This is not what you want to do.
Also is, Austin College is a great school.
Sure.
Like on paper, it looks great, and I went from a high school of 2,400 people to a college of 1,400 people.
2,400 total or graduating class? 2,400
Total.
Oh,
Yeah. We graduated
I was about to
around
say,
700.
That's still big.
Yeah. So I mean,
It's
it was
5A.
yeah. Now it's considered 6A.
Oh, okay. Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was big, and so I went from a really large school to a smaller school, and a smaller school, everybody's gonna know like who you are, and people are gonna know your business, and some people are okay with that, and that's great. But for me, I heard how great Kyle Field was on like a Saturday night, how crazy games were, and I saw a lot of my friends go there, and like I said, I started off pre-med, and I realized I wasn't necessarily the most book smart, like right off the bat, like chemistry and biology,
I feel that.
It's great.
It's hard.
Yeah, it's a really hard concept to grasp, and if you're not wired that way, it's very apparent, right? And so I realized I was pretty good with people and pretty good on my feet, and so even, I guess I was 18, 19, sat down and was like, all right, where can I go to use that to the best of my ability? And I thought of networking. Aggie Network is known for being one of the best in the nation. Like, Aggies will take care of Aggies. So it's like, all right, I'll go to A&M. And I went to Blinn for a year in order to like transfer in.
Okay.
And I still tried to do chemistry for a bit, and then I took one semester of OChem and was like, you know what?
Dude.
I'm gonna do economics instead. And economics is actually a liberal arts degree at A&M.
Okay.
But I was trying to think of, for what I want to do, like what's the most practical thing that I could do and still graduate in 4 years? Because like school's fun, but I really just wanted to kind of be on my own, be independent, and get done. So I did, and then signed on with Edward Jones, or the company, whatever. I work for Edward Jones.
Oh, well. Cat's out the bag now.
Yeah, there you go. I don't know if I'm necessarily...
I've done the same thing.
Yeah, whatever.
And then afterwards, I'm like, I probably shouldn't say it.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to say anything bad about them. They're a
Sure.
great company. Just wasn't like the best fit whenever I left. But so signed on with them, and then did all that other stuff. So yeah, been in Austin since 2018, and been at Streamline where we met since 2019, which has been
been
awesome, dude.
It's so good.
It is. I listened to the podcast you had with Austin. He's just, I don't know, very humble, very good at what he does,
Beast.
and just what
This
is gonna
doesn't
sound-
make any sense.
this is gonna like sound bad, but I can't. I'm really bad when it comes to leadership, just because I'm incredibly stubborn.
Sure. I can feel that.
Yeah.
I don't like being told what to do if I don't agree.
Right. Or if I don't respect the authority.
Sure.
That's a huge thing for me.
Sure.
Like, as soon as I don't respect the authority, it's really hard for me to follow something.
I agree
That's
with
why
that.
my boss and I get along so well. Is because like if I make him mad, he'll call me and he'll just be like, "Hey, listen up. Like you did this, and I didn't appreciate it." And it's just we deal with it and it's done.
Hash
So,
it out, get it over with,
Yeah.
move on.
Like there's no sour grapes or whatever
He's
other
not
phrase you wanna
holding
say.
a grudge for 8 years.
Right. So with Austin, I respect him tremendously. One, because he's great at programming, and then two, he like does the work. Right. Like, he's in great shape, and I've been to gyms where
Great's an understatement, I think.
yeah, yeah, and he does the work.
Yep.
He goes in, and I've been to gyms, and I've seen gyms where like I walk in, and I'm not like a super athlete or anything like that. I'm
Not
like
bad.
I'm like decent at CrossFit.
Yeah, you're pretty.
And if
good.
I can beat the
Pretty
gym
good.
owner and something, I'm like, all right, like Okay. I gotta like have some sort of competition.
Sure.
But like the numbers he throws up are just like stupid.
Doesn't make any sense. I watched him overhead squat 325, and I just sat there and I was just like, you shouldn't be able to do that. Under 200 pounds. You shouldn't be able to do that.
I think my spine would snap if I
I
tried that, bro.
I would snap. My shoulder would go this way and just it'd be gone.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
Torn rotator cuff. I'd be like, nope. That's it. That's my career. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
So how did you get involved with Streamline? Because I don't know that story.
So, I followed Bethany on Instagram, and then I used to go to Gold's Fit, and I had pretty much peaked at Gold's Fit.
Yeah.
Where it was just like, and it sounds bad, but it's like, okay, every workout, you're finishing first or second, and you're just like, okay, I've done this for a year and a half. I've kind of peaked.
Yeah.
We only used kettlebells. There was no barbells, and I wanted to do more barbell Olympic lifting.
Do you guys did you coach there?
I didn't coach there, no.
Okay.
But Laura is how I got introduced to Streamline.
Okay. Who's Laura?
So Laura, well, I guess she doesn't work there no more, but Laura may or may not have taught at Gold's Fit, but she also trained at Streamline under Joe.
Gotcha.
And Joe was there.
Okay,
and
gotcha.
then I started following Bethany on Instagram.
Yeah.
And so like I said, I was kind of already thinking like, okay, I kind of want to take the next step, and that would be to go to an actual box. I enjoyed Gold's Fit. It was a lot of fun. I met a lot of great people. I met my realtor there. Shout out to Caitlin. Thank you. We closed on the house.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. We closed on the house.
Huge accomplishment.
It was something, man. I signed the papers, and I was just like, damn, I did this.
Yeah.
Like, that was cool.
Now
It was a cool feeling.
Get this away from me as fast as possible.
Now, bye-bye. And that makes me sad, too. We had just posted it. I was just looking at the listing before we started this. And I was just looking at the pictures, and I was just like, damn, dude. I picked out everything. I designed the house.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I picked it. So I kind of have a little bit of a connection to it. And it's a beautiful home. Even the builder was like, this is the best looking home that we've done in this neighborhood in the new Summerlin part that he's been a part of.
Yeah.
He said, you're the only person who didn't pick the stereotypical browns. Like, I did all white and gray.
Oh,
The floors are a nice gray, clean. I'll show you afterwards. But I was proud of how it came out, and it looks really good. And so I was a little sad looking at the listing. I was like, damn, I could just move in. But then I was like, yeah, but I could just stay here and make a buttload of money.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where it's just like, I'm 28, single by definition. I don't need a house. Yeah, the dog would love it, but she's pretty used to it at this point. We've always lived in an apartment. She's never had a yard, so she doesn't know any better technically.
Yeah.
She would enjoy it, but that's not worth paying $2,600 a month.
Yeah.
So,
for sure.
So met a bunch of cool people at Gold's Fit. I had a lot of fun, but I was like, all right, I'm kind of at the peak here. I need to be around people who are better than me. And so Streamline always does the community WODs on the weekends. They used to do Sunday workouts as well. And so showed up to one of the Sunday workouts, damn near died. It was
oh yeah.
Fuck.
You remember your first CrossFit workout? Because I remember mine.
I think I'm pretty sure I remember it almost. So it was 25, 50, 100. And then I think it went back down.
Yeah.
And it was thrusters, burpees, thrusters, burpees. There was one more. I think I still have a picture of it, actually.
Yeah. Must have been like air squats or like push-ups or something. Like, for 100? I don't know.
I don't think it was push-ups because that would have been nuts.
Yeah.
25, 50, 100 push-up. 175. It could have been push-ups. I don't remember. But anyways,
air squats or something. Yeah.
There was 3 movements. One was thrusters for sure, and one was burpees for sure.
Yeah.
And I was partnered with Laura, and Austin and Bethany were partnered together.
Oh.
And they finished that bitch in 32 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
And I think the time cap was 50 minutes, and I think Laura and I finished at 48.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah, so we finished within the time cap, but it was only because Laura carried my ass.
Oh, yeah.
Straight carried me. The last 20, I think it was 150, 25. I think it was descending. And the last 25 burpees, She did like 20 of them because I was like, Laura, if I do another burpee, I'm going to throw up.
Oh yeah.
And I've never thrown up from a workout, and I was like, I'm not throwing up.
Yeah.
I was lightheaded. I was dying. I was like, dude, if I do another burpee, I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
And then here comes Austin and Bethany just
smoking it. Yeah.
It was 150, 25. In between, it was a 1 minute hang. That's what it was. That's what it was.
So your grip's like, your grip's gone.
Grip's done.
That's
doing burpees.
Yeah.
And thrusters. It was brutal. And
that's a bad one.
And so,
That's a very
yeah, I
bad
know,
one.
right? And then me being me, I just walk up to Bethany. I'm like, I have no shirt on. I'm like, Bethany, can we get a picture? So I take a picture with Bethany. I still have that stupid photo on my phone, dude. I look so stupid. I'm like, yeah, like halfway dead. And yeah, I joined that day, or something like that. Yeah, like a week later or something. But that's how I joined.
Were y'all doing that much volume at Gold's Fit?
No.
Okay.
I damn near died.
Yeah.
Yeah, I died. I was not in shape
Yeah.
for that. But that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Like that's what I needed. Like I was looking for that extra push and like that extra level, that next level, and that was it.
Yeah.
And as soon as I went there and you see Austin like takes his shirt off and you're like, God damn, G.I. Joe, what the fuck? Put that away, dude. Put that away. Put your chest down. Like, and then you see Bethany and you're just like, oh shit, like okay, like this is legit, like legit.
Yeah.
And you see Bethany's banners hanging, and you're like, this is where I want to be.
Yeah.
And so yeah, from then on I've been going, and it's been a ride. I feel like this last year, like since quarantine.
Uh-oh.
I feel like
we're gonna talk about COVID?
No.
We're
we gonna talk
You
COVID. COVID. You
ready
want to start right now?
Got a few points on that, right? Everybody does.
Freaking yeah, right. Everybody has an opinion. And so since quarantine, I feel like I have just been injured every 2 months.
Oh, really?
Something happens. Like right now, my hamstring is. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with it. My hamstring. It's getting better. I've been going to Doc Megan, and
she'll put a hurt on you.
Yeah. And she yells at me all the time. I just get yelled at every time I go. She's like, Jordan, are you ever gonna stop working out? And I'm like, I can't. I feel so much better when I am moving.
Oh, yeah.
The days I don't work out are the days that I actually hurt.
Yeah.
But then she's like, yeah, that's because you were working out the day before. And I was like, yeah, I get that. However, if I could just work out 7 days a week, I won't feel bad.
Yeah, right.
and so between CrossFit and Muay Thai, like my body just hurts, and my feet feel like they're constantly broken because every time you kick a knee or elbow, it's like 2 weeks of just excruciating. Like I kicked a knee last night, and I'm like, you wake up and you're like, why do I do this?
That's brutal. Did you get hurt doing CrossFit, or did you get hurt doing Muay Thai? Or was it something in between?
So the hamstrings from Muay Thai.
Okay.
The hamstring was from sprints.
Gotcha.
That I didn't properly warm up for, and just
dude.
that was bad. And so it's still lingering, and that was in March.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
dude, getting older, I feel so bad.
Dude.
I was listening to the one you had with Kyle.
Yeah.
On the way over here, which I had been meaning to listen to it because I think Kyle has a lot of good stuff to say.
Oh yeah.
But he was talking about like recovery and like warming up, and even I was always the guy that just like went out and like did whatever.
Yes.
And then I started
catching up.
I sprinted maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna actually warm up because it's really easy to pull something.
Sprints can go terribly south quick.
Oh yeah.
And so yeah, I just feel like something's wrong all the time now. Because pre-quarantine was the best shape I was ever in.
Yeah.
I was working out all 7 days. That was before Bethany fractured her heel. Mm-hmm. And so we were still running 7 miles on Sunday. Yeah. And I feel like when I'm in a good groove with running, I feel like running just holds everything together.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like running is like that mesh, and it keeps my body fluid and just keeps it in motion.
Yeah, I've started training for a marathon.
Ooh.
And it's...
okay, when you doing that?
So this is actually the second marathon that I've done.
Okay, but, subtle flex.
Yeah. No, the first one, so 2018. I mean, I can tell that story too, but...
Let's hear it.
So the one that I signed up for...
I'm just rambling, so you go for it.
My buddy, he texted me, it was either earlier this week or last week. He's like, hey, man, you want to run the Dallas Marathon? And I'm the type of guy where if you just ask me to do something, like, why not? Like,
feel
be a
that.
good story. Like, I'm young, I'm single.
So,
like,
okay, let's do it.
yeah, that is exactly. I can't tell you how many times I've said that to myself, and just like gone and done something, right? Whether that be like going and hiking in Colorado,
But
or
you
just
almost
like,
never regret it.
oh yeah,
Almost
for sure.
never. You're like, oh, shouldn't have done that one.
Yeah,
Like when I took the trip just a couple weeks ago with Arya up to Colorado
Yeah.
for my birthday, I was like, that was completely spontaneous. Did a 15-hour trip, just me and her, and I never regret that. That was it was beautiful.
Oh yeah. So 2018, I ran a marathon, and so I moved to Austin, and just went through like a really brutal breakup, and I didn't really know anybody. So it was a year of it was really dark, right?
Mhm.
And so I was sitting in bed one night because it was at the point where I was sleeping maybe like 2 or 3 hours a night. I was just like, I don't know what to do. Like, God, like, give me some direction. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I didn't have an appetite. Like, it was a brutal year, and it's been really cool to see how like the Lord has worked through that, and there's been a lot of like, I guess like redemption that's like come from that. Like,
Sure.
when you're broken down so bad that you have to like
Literally
build. Yeah, you just
put
have to like
yourself
build
back
yourself up.
together.
And it's weird saying that's like from a breakup, right? But something that helped get me through is like a lot of people have been through a lot worse. You know,
Sure.
I'm not the first person that has like moved somewhere and then like gone through a breakup, and like
Sometimes that mentality works, but then sometimes you really do gotta take a step back and be like, you know what? This shit hurts.
Oh,
me.
for sure,
Like,
yeah.
this hurts me. I know people have gone through worse, but
Yeah.
at this exact moment, this is brutal.
Yeah, and I had a good friend that reached out and was like, hey, like, yeah, this is going to be brutal, but like I would encourage you to feel everything through.
Yeah.
And then like you're going through it and you're like, why would you tell me this? Like, I'm feeling everything.
I'm
This
feeling it all, I
sucks.
swear. This fucking sucks.
Yeah. So I think I watched The Office maybe like 7 or 8 times through that year.
yeah.
Just like put it on
Yep.
replay.
Yeah, whatever
repeat.
gives you just something to give you that comfort.
Yeah, so I'll lay out like 2018. Moved here in like late March, and then April we break up late March.
Okay.
April, just like try to make it work, and it didn't work, and so like she officially ended things, and I was like, oh, I don't know what I'm gonna do, and was like really broken down, and I was working at a job where I was encouraged to go like door to door and like ask people for like to like work with you.
Yeah.
Now like used to be their motto or their model, and thankfully it's not anymore. But I'm in a suit in Steiner Ranch, knocking door to door, and nobody wants to talk to me. And I don't blame them. Like
No one.
absolutely nobody.
And it's hot as fuck outside.
Yeah, it's like 98 degrees, and I have like mentors, and I say that in quotes for people that you can't see, that are like, "Oh, dude, you just have to pound the pavement. You just gotta go out and do it."
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I have no idea what I'm doing right now. Like, didn't have a lot of direction in life, and my walk with the Lord wasn't that great at the time, and so yeah, I was just like, all right. And so I think it was May, it might have been June. Yeah, I was laying in bed on a Sunday or Monday night, and I was like, what's something on my bucket list that I've always wanted to do, but I just haven't done before? And so I was like, you know what? Let's just run a marathon. Let's
Just go
do it. So I signed up for it on a Tuesday, and I think I ran it on a Sunday. Yeah, and I had like $70 Under Armour shoes with like maybe an inch worth of cushion. And it's in San Antonio, and I was like talking to my buddy who had been training for one. I was like, oh dude, I'm just gonna like, I'll eat a hamburger the night before, drink a little bit of water, get some calories in, like I'll be fine.
I'll be fine. What could go wrong?
Yeah, and so I think the start was at like 6 a.m. So it's nice and cool in San Antonio. Start my pace, and it was a loop where it was a 5K out and a 5K back.
Okay.
So
3 and
or
2.
so sorry, no.
Three-ish.
It was a 5K there and back. So it was.
Oh, okay.
I guess it was 1.75.
Oof.
And then
that's a
back.
lot of back and forth.
Yeah. So you basically ran what 12, 10,
10
11 laps.
Yeah. Oof.
Something like that.
Oh, that would drive me nuts. I can't stand running in circles.
Oh, yeah. It was awful. I'll never do anything like that again.
I feel for you.
Yeah. So I run the half in like 2:12, and
Okay.
I'm feeling good. I'm
Okay.
like, all right, like let's go. Like there's little snacks there. I'm like, eating,
And
and
then
then like
it hits.
when you're running like that, your body's like, hey, you got some stuff in there, you need to let it out. So I stopped after the half, sat down on like some porta potty that was awful. Just did my business, and I was like, okay. Whoa, my legs feel kind of funny.
I can't get up.
My legs feel kind of funny. Okay, all right, this is new. And I was probably $170 because I had
Okay.
lost a lot of weight,
Okay.
just like not sleeping, not eating.
Not
right?
eating. Yep.
And so I get back up, start running, and I had never hit a wall running because the most I'd run was maybe like 6 or 7 miles. And I was like, you know what? Like, I can just run for forever. Your body's never going to tell you to stop. And I think it was mile 16 or 17. My body started tapping me on the shoulders like, hey, bud, you can't run anymore. You physically are unable to run.
Yeah, like,
And so I'm still going. I'm like doing lap number 8 on this freaking 5K little loop or whatever it was. And I'm like, man, it's really hot outside because the sun come out.
Really hot.
We're in San Antonio. It's like 95 degrees, and I'm like, oh man, I'm getting a little cotton mouth. This is not good. And so
oh no.
I think mile 18 was when I'd like run for a minute, and then I'd walk for like 5.
Okay.
Like we're talking like a 1 to
Dude,
5 ratio right now.
Don't blame you.
And then eventually it just came, like turned into me walking. And then I think it was mile 23. There was a 1 mile loop. So you like ran at the end of the road, and you came back. And it was
Okay.
1 mile. And the poor sponsor of this marathon, she was just like, hey, you can do that, and then like, get rehydrated. I've got some Gatorade. Like you can finish it out. And I was like, okay, all right, I can do this. And so I'm like,
I can
not
picture
even
this.
like power walking, dude. I'm like
Yeah.
limping at this
Yeah.
point.
Oh
and-
yeah. Your feet are probably bleeding
Oh.
or close to it.
Yeah. And so I eventually finished this marathon, but I sat down. I walked so much, and I would sit down for like 5 minutes at a time, just be like, okay, like you can do this. Like I was listening to the David Goggins podcast, like anything to motivate me. Like, do you know who Mitch Aguirre is?
Mm-mm. I
He's
don't
a
know who that
former
is.
Navy SEAL.
Okay.
He was on a podcast, and it's like, mindset's everything. It's like, dude, mindset's great, but my body is broken right now. Like, but I was, in my mind, I'm like, I'll be damned if I don't finish this, right?
Especially if you hit 23.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, like, I could die after this,
Yeah.
but I'm finishing this marathon.
Got to.
And so, I eventually do it, and I wish I could say that there was some heroic moment, like on mile 25 or like
Where you start running
the
again?
26.2, where I was like, I need to finish strong, and I'd like start going, and then my hip flexors would just cramp up. Like there's nothing I could do.
So brutal.
And so
brutal.
there's a photo of me holding like my little trophy, and in my you can just see there's nothing in my eyes. I'm just a broken body at that point, and I wish. I think I taught a lot about I learned a lot about myself. Excuse me.
Oh, yeah.
Like during that, because it was just like, all right, like you've done this, like you can do a lot more.
Yep.
And it was rough. Like I had bone spurs in both my feet, which are, do you know what bone spurs are?
Yeah, they're pretty
like,
terrible.
Like calcium deposits at the bottom. And so I went and got X-rayed, like super dehydrated,
Yep.
and my legs continued to cramp for like the next day. And I was like, in my mind, my buddy had asked me to do Murph the next day. I was like, oh, dude, I'm Michael Harris. Of course I can do Murph the next day. I just texted him later.
For those who don't know what Murph is, it's a mile run, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 squats, a mile run, and it's technically supposed to be done with a weighted vest.
Yep. And I texted him later that day, and I was like, hey, man, I'm just not gonna do this. And I was crashing with my buddy in San Antonio, and I roll up to his apartment, and I have my seat basically all the way back because I didn't want any tension on my hip flexors, and barely hitting the gas pedal, and I'm.
Oh, you're driving?
Yeah, I'm limping. Maybe I'm going maybe 6 inches every step. I remember it was like the longest walk to his apartment, and he was super gracious. He had an ice bath ready for me, and like I'm in there, and I still like it's not a soaking tub. It's just like a regular tub.
Yeah,
so like there's tension. I'm like cramping up and like doing a dance in the bathtub, and he got me like a Smoothie King, one of those like huge mammoth things. It's like 1,400 calories, and it was awesome. And so I'm like sipping on that. And he's like, "Hey man, I'm gonna go hang out with my family because they're in town.
Mm-hmm.
You're more than welcome to stay here. Like take a nap in my bed if you want." And I was like, "Dude, yeah," because I mean I'd slept maybe like 4 hours prior.
Yeah.
I was like, "All right, yeah, I'll do that." And so I get up after I'd had the smoothie, had the ice bath, and like I just remember being really hot. You ever been like really dehydrated and you're just really hot? And I get up. And I take one step in his apartment, and I just sit down, and I put a blanket underneath me, and I just scooted myself into his room. And it was the most pathetic feeling in the world. Like I was like, God, please just get me through this day. And I woke up. We like made our way to Smash Burger or like something that night, and ate a good meal. And I was like, I did it. Like,
I finished.
Yeah. So I didn't walk right for the next like 2 weeks, and
I bet.
But yeah.
And you want to do this again?
Yeah. Well, like I've been running now.
Yeah.
Like this is a little bit more training for it. I've done half since that I haven't trained for, but I'll never do a marathon again without training for it because
it's different.
Oh yeah.
13 miles, your body will hold up.
Yeah.
But it's after that,
even
it goes downhill quick.
Yeah. Even like 13, my knees will get. They'll be like a little
13
achy.
is still brutal.
Yeah.
But you're not.
I've done a half. So I did the Zion half marathon in 2019 with a buddy, which was
the national park.
Yeah. So we started 13 miles away, and then the finish line was like right at Zion. And you're like, dude, this is gonna be awesome. It wasn't. It was awful.
Hills.
Yeah. And that story, like, sorry, I'm kind of rambling, but
no, go for it, dude. I'm enjoying it.
So
I can picture it. I don't know if anybody else listening can picture this, but I can literally picture that pain.
So Zion, my buddy lives in Salt Lake. Zion's like between Vegas and Salt Lake's. There's Salt Lake up north, Vegas is down south, and then Zion's like kind of in between. Okay. And my buddy was like, "Dude, just fly into Vegas because Austin, tickets from Austin to Vegas are pretty cheap. Yeah. Like you'll be able to do it." And I was like, "All right, cool." He didn't realize it was 3 hours from Salt Lake to Vegas, and then another like 2.5 to Zion.
Oh, so he came down and got you.
Yeah, yeah. He's a great friend. Yeah. And so I fly in. And I flew in like Spirit because it's super cheap. Like I think I paid $80. Yeah. I was like, all right, like cool. And a tip for the people at home and you.
I'm taking Spirit in November.
Yeah. So if you just like don't check your bag, you like tell them you don't have a carry-on. Usually they won't say anything. I've done it a million times. I've only gotten caught once. And then if you tell them that you're gonna check a bag, it's like $48.
Yeah.
And then if you get caught, it's like $63. So it's only
So what's considered a carry-on for them? Anything?
No, so you get like a personal bag.
Okay.
You get like a backpack.
Gotcha.
And then an actual carry-on.
Cool.
I don't know. Some dude got me one time, but I've probably saved $200-300 just like taking my suitcase on. Like most people aren't confrontational, so they're not going to call you out on it.
It's
so
true.
I'm like, all right,
it's true. It's one of those things where it's just like, just keep going.
Yeah,
just keep going.
Sure.
Hope nobody
you just put your head down. You're like,
oh, here I go.
So,
oh, you mean I can't bring this on? Oh, sorry.
It's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, here's my credit card. But anyway, so I fly Spirit. My flight lands at 10, and then we are like start time, like when we have to be there is 5 a.m.
And you got there at 10 at night.
So that's when we landed. I was on the tarmac until about 11:15. Yep. I get to my buddy's car at 11:30. We drive 2.5 hours. And so we get in around 2 o'clock, bed at 2:30, wake up at 5. And then we like go out there. So we slept 2.5 hours, and you think, dude, this is going to be awesome. You're going to see some beautiful sights. I think it was March whenever we did it.
Okay.
I think people, spring break weather.
Sure.
It's going to be great.
Freezing.
It was 8 degrees outside before the wind chill. And so I think
Wait, what did you bring?
I had tights.
Okay.
And then joggers and like compression shorts. And I was
Okay.
like, this should be good. No, dude, I was freezing. And then I probably had like 4 or 5 shirts on.
Okay.
So like I was good there, and I actually shedded a few of them because there's like a station where you can do that.
Yeah, once you get warmed up.
Yeah. And so we get there and we start running, and yeah, I was like, you know what? Well, that's before the wind chill, and it's like the wind is blowing, and so it's probably like -2, like -3 degrees, and my dumbass had cotton gloves on, and so I don't know if you know, but cotton gloves, they just absorb sweat.
Yeah.
So it's just like walking around with your hands in bags of water.
They're like 10 pounds heavier.
Yes, it was awful. I was like, why did you let me do this? And also, the guy that I ran with, one of my best friends, he's an engineer, like one of the smartest people I know. He's awesome. But I had a Camelback on, and I was like, yeah, I'm running. I'll just be able to sip. I don't need the hydration station. I'm ready to go. And I get to mile like 1.5 or 2, and I go to sip, and it's like,
it's frozen.
yeah, the straw froze, and he goes, oh yeah, I thought about that, but I didn't say anything. I was like, dude, what's wrong with you?
He probably had a good old time thinking about this later. He was like, ah.
Yeah, and so it's like an extra 10 pounds on my back that I'm like running. I'm
Plus
like,
the 10 pounds on your hands.
yeah.
So now we're up to 30 pounds.
Yeah. And so I remember I finished that. It was probably the most miserable feeling like in my life. Like my hands hurt. It was just like, you know those like pins and needles you get in your hands? It was like that for about an hour before I could start feeling. They had charter buses that took us back to the starting line. And I remember just sitting there in the charter bus, like wrapped up, trying to get warm and just like shaking back and forth. And I was just like, I'm never doing anything like this.
Working out when you're
ever
freezing
again.
is terrible.
Oh, yeah.
It's terrible.
100%.
That's why I'm so glad that I don't go to Gold's anymore, because they keep that AC on like fucking 65. And I'm like, this is not fun.
Yeah.
Who wants this? Who desires this? Especially in the winter. You come out the car and you're bundled up, and then you get into the gym, and then it takes another like 45 minutes to even warm up.
Yeah.
And by then, you're already halfway through your workout. And by the very end, you break the first little bit of sweat. And you're like, did I even do anything today?
Oh, yeah. For sure. Yeah. So I'm on that bus, and I'm just like, I'm never doing anything like this again. Never again in my life. And then we go back. The host for the Airbnb was super cool. She let us go like crash and take a little nap and go eat a decent meal. And then later that afternoon, I was like, no, that's not too bad. No, when do you want to do it again? We went to the Vegas Strip that night. We're like limping around.
Yeah,
we're not like we're not like
another 2.5 hours.
we're not we're not going out to party, or like I think I probably lost like $60 playing blackjack, and I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm just like go back to our Airbnbs, which are like in this. It was like a trailer park and like 2 twin mattresses right next to each other, and like whatever, man. It was an awesome time. He's one of my best friends.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody else I'd rather do it with.
You'll
but,
never forget that.
Oh yeah. It was brutal, but
Got your Camelback frozen.
dude, it was brutal. I can't describe the feeling of you think there's something's going to be refreshing, and then you don't have access to it, and then it's a burden for the next 11 miles. And on like the last thing on this one, and then we can move on to someone else. But I remember it was mile 11, and we run past these people, and they're cheering. They're like, "Let's go, guys! We're almost there!" And I'm hurting, and my buddy's like, "You know what? I'm feeling good. That gives me some power. I'm ready to go." And so he's like picks up the pace. I was like, "Okay, all right, let's go." So like, I'm running, and then something happens on the 13th mile for him where he's like, "Dude, I can't anymore." And so I was like, "All right, I'm going." And so I just like. I don't know if runner's high is actually a thing.
I think it is. Sometimes.
Yeah, maybe for you.
Sometimes.
Most of the time,
But
I'm
I've
just
never
like, I
ran
don't
that
want to
far
die. Yeah.
The most I've done is 8.5 miles, maybe.
Yeah. That's still
yeah.
a decent. Yeah, you can run half then.
Yeah, I mean, I could. Yeah, I mean, 8.5's okay. Like at a real 10-minute pace.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy, but
But I just took off that last mile, and then he finished like a few minutes after me. He was pretty mad about it, but it's fine. Whatever. But anywhu, that's just like one of the running adventures I've gotten myself in, dude.
That's great. So 2018, go through a vicious breakup. Terrible. That sucks. I think we've all been there. It's not fun.
Yeah. Not unique though. Like, everybody's been through it. And
yeah.
It's cool to hear how different people handle it differently.
Well, I was like you. I was in my room, repeat of whatever.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't even think I had a TV in my room, actually. All I did was lay in my room, fucking question everything.
Yeah.
And then go to work, come home, rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
And I was living with people who were partying all the time.
Oh,
and I had the room downstairs right next to the kitchen.
No.
And they were partying every night. It was during the summer.
Yeah.
Partying every night, and I'm just laying in my room like, this is the most miserable I've ever been in my entire life. This is terrible. Get me out of here.
Yeah.
I couldn't move out fast enough.
Yeah.
And so dude, I feel you.
What was the reconstruction process for you?
For me, it was, I had to get, like, moving out was a big thing.
Yeah.
And then that summer, I really got into working out as well.
Yeah.
So not quite like running a marathon or anything super crazy, but I did watch 300. No, it wasn't 300. It was what's the other one with Henry Immortals?
Okay.
I watched that movie. That was my freshman year of college, so before any of this.
Okay.
And I was like, I want to look like that guy.
Oh, yeah.
And so started working out, and then fell off sophomore year. Didn't work out at all. Got in a relationship.
Whenever I started working out, I did like Christian Bale's Batman workout. I was like, dude, I gotta look like Christian Bale, because he had done The Machinist before.
Okay.
He was like 100 pounds.
Yep.
And then he had 6 weeks to
bulk
bulk
up, and
he did it
Batman
naturally, right? Yeah. Everybody
quotation marks
might had some of that.
Got to.
Yeah.
They got to. Some the things that they put their bodies through.
Yeah.
There's no way you can do it without.
Yeah.
Like what Matthew McConaughey for Dallas.
Oh.
Or Chris Hemsworth. Chris Hemsworth is actually a better example. Chris Hemsworth did Thor, where he got up to like 225, and then he did Rush, like a couple months later, where he had to get down to 185 to fit in the race car.
Holy
and
cow.
then Thor 2 shot like 6 months after that.
Holy
so he went
cow.
from 225 to 185 to 225 within a year.
That's miserable.
And he had to stay shredded the entire time. And I was like, oh, that sounds so gruesome.
Did you listen to McConaughey on Rogan? I'm sure you did.
Yes.
But
phenomenal.
Yeah, it was a great podcast.
And his book is also phenomenal.
Yeah?
You haven't read it?
No, I haven't. I need to read it.
Dude.
But he talks about, like, he still has long-term effects from Dallas Buyers Club, and that's a lot of dedication.
Dude.
But, I mean, that's a
extreme
that's the
dedication.
grind, right?
Yeah.
That's what you put yourself through.
when that check clears.
Oh.
When the
Oh,
check
yeah.
clears, you know, you're like, oh, this might have been worth it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he said, he talked about it where he think he was just eating just fish, and then the doctor said he could drink as much wine as he wanted.
Jeez.
But that's going to sleep hungry on a whole nother level.
Oh, yeah. For sure. Especially when you, like, his bank account. I feel like it's harder when you have a bank account that big.
It's true, because at that point when he put that movie out, he was already pretty damn big.
Yeah, I mean, after True Detective, like,
He was chilling.
yeah. But anyway, you were talking about.
So yeah, so I watched Immortals, and I was like, I want to look like that.
Yeah.
So the next day we started eating salads, doing all the bro shit, and that lasted for, I don't know, maybe like 6 months, and that kind of like sparked an interest. But then got into a relationship sophomore year, I didn't work out at all.
Yeah.
And then we broke up summer of going into senior year, and that's when I really got into fitness.
Mm-hmm.
Did a men's physique show.
Oh yeah.
Did a men's physique show.
Which one did you do?
I did one here in Austin.
Okay.
I did the NPC Classic Showdown.
Okay. Right. I did
think
Ronnie
that's what
Coleman
it's called.
Classic in 2015
In
so-
Houston.
in
Right?
Dallas, or Fort Worth,
Fort Worth, okay.
and then the one in Branch Warren's in Houston.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
Oh no, dude.
I didn't enjoy it
You
at
want to talk
all.
about that?
Yeah, we can talk
You
about
can tell
that.
your
So-
story.
so
Tell your
Philip-
experience with that.
So Philip loves this. One of my best friends. He loves bodybuilding. He just did a show not too long ago, and he
Right on.
really enjoys it. But fuck that! I will never do it again.
Yeah.
Well, for one, I did it myself.
Oh,
I got
yeah?
on stage. I got on stage, and it was embarrassing. I was leaner. I was leaner for my fight than I was for the men's physique show. But nonetheless, I did it by myself.
Yeah.
No idea what I was
Yeah.
doing.
I mean, like, there's a
also
certain
no
amount-
self-control.
There's a lot of like pride that comes with that too, right?
Yeah, but
I mean, if
it was embarrassing.
You
more
place
than,
or like
no, fuck no.
okay.
Place. I stepped on stage at like 160.
Yeah.
No muscle. I was lean-ish,
Yeah.
but it was bad. It was
Yeah.
bad.
How
I
tall
wasn't
are you?
6 foot.
Okay.
So I fought at 160 earlier this year.
Okay.
And I was really small, really lean, but too
Yeah.
small. I was like, it's too much.
Really? Are you gonna fight at 160 again?
If I fight again. If
Okay.
I fight again, it'll be in April.
Okay.
I can't do the November tournament
Yeah.
because work. November's a blackout month. And I also don't have any more PTO anyway, so it wouldn't matter. But so I did it. I did the show by myself. It was really bad, but I made it through, and I was happy that I did it. But it's not fun, and it so after the show, I was like, maybe I really want to. I was only focused on aesthetics.
Yeah.
And I think that's the part that I hate about it. That's why I got into CrossFit. And so leading to that, so I started working for a company here called Six Pack Shortcuts. And big fitness company, bunch of dudes in there, real jacked, whole 9 yards. And I did 2 cycles of testosterone.
Okay.
And got up to 200 pounds. Not very lean. I wasn't very lean.
Yeah.
But I was strong. Strong. Like, felt so good. You feel like you could run through a wall.
Yeah.
You feel like if someone shot you, you'd be like, haha.
Was it? So when you say strong, were your joints adjusted to that as well, like your ligaments and stuff, or were you like pretty sore whenever you?
No,
because I've heard that's like the big thing.
Recovery is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
You don't feel anything on it.
Really?
That's how I got my hernia. So I was dumbbell rowing 130 pounds, dumbbell rows. Yeah, I know. It's fucking stupid.
Dude, working out at what, Gold's Gym or
Yeah.
what's that hardcore gym up
I was
north?
looking at Gold's Gym, yeah.
I love it.
Gold's Gym in Colleen. And
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
and
That's so much weight.
it was
That is
stupid,
so
dude.
much
Thinking
weight,
back
dude.
on it, it was so dumb. I was doing for like sets of 8, and then I was rack pulling 425,
Oh yeah.
and I got a nosebleed, and I was like, "This is new."
Yeah.
I was like, and then sure enough, hernia. Fucking
Is that common with hernias? Nosebleed?
I have no idea if that was.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that was connected or correlated, but that's what led me to be like, that's weird.
Yeah.
Why is my nose bleeding right now?
Yeah,
My
yeah.
nose never bleeds.
Yeah.
And so that's when I was like, poking ended up getting an Audi, and so I had to go get that fixed.
Yeah.
I couldn't work out for 2 months. So 4 months prior to the surgery, a month prior to the surgery and a month after the surgery.
Yeah.
Couldn't work out. And so I had to come off test. So I was 200 pounds, jacked, not shredded, but big.
Yeah.
And then had to go get off of it, dropped all the way down to 170, fat. I had a belly and everything.
Woo. So you're not even like skinny fat at this point. You're just fat.
Fat.
Dang, dude.
And
That's brutal.
Dude, it took me over a year. It took me, so to get back into the gym, just to get back in the gym, it took me probably 6 to 8 months.
Is that from the
mentally.
surgery?
No,
Oh,
just
mentally, okay.
mentally. I couldn't work out in front of a mirror.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
that bad. Like, it had fucked me up so bad psychologically.
Yeah.
And so I tell anybody, like, if you're gonna do it, you gotta commit.
Oh, yeah.
You gotta commit to it. It's a great feeling. I don't have any, like, if you do it, it doesn't bother me. As long as you're not competing in some sport where it's illegal.
Right.
If you're just doing it for your own self, you like to go to the gym, you like to look good, and you want to do it, fucking do it, dude. You feel great.
Yeah.
Your body is working how it's supposed to. Is how a lot of people explain it.
Yeah.
And I got off, psychologically fucking wrecked me. So that's how I got into Gold's Fit.
Yeah.
I couldn't work out in front of a mirror no more. Like, aesthetics out the window, I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And so that's how I got into CrossFit, XYZ, that's how we're here. But yeah, it fucked me up. It was bad.
Yeah.
I just couldn't.
Brutal.
Yeah, I couldn't get back. It wrecked me because I was feeling good. I was feeling strong. I was bench pressing 300.
Dang, dude.
I was squatting over 400, deadlifting over 400, no problem.
Yeah.
And I was feeling great, and then
yeah.
And I'm the type of person who, and this is my own fault, but I'm the type of person sometimes when something just goes wrong, I'm just like, fuck it. I don't want to do it no more.
Yeah.
And I'm getting better at that as I get older, but I was like 23, 22, 23.
Just a young pup.
Yeah, I was still a youngster, and it just wrecked me. It wrecked me, and I didn't enjoy it, and I haven't done it since. I can't get back. I think about it sometimes, especially doing CrossFit, because I'm like, ooh, that'd be so much fun.
Oh.
Get jacked.
Yeah. You have to worry about like a whole slew of other things because your muscle development goes too fast and you're like cleaning and jerking. And I think it's a little trickier. But
probably a little bit more dangerous, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. What's
my physique experience?
Let's hear it.
So I started working out, consistently after the last semester, my senior year, go to Gold's, just do like I said, like the Christian Bale workout, getting big, feeling jacked, and I'd always been like that's right.
Pre-workout, more pre-workout.
Oh yeah, every time. And I was going to play D3 tennis, and I was like, all right, like I'll just like work out, like it'll be fun, and so worked out a lot that summer. Went and played tennis, and basically like lost it all because we didn't really train weights, which I don't know. You should if you're a tennis program, but it's another conversation. So at the end of my freshman year, I had gone through the new member orientation process for a fraternity, if you know what I mean. And I was pretty skinny fat. Like, you can see some definition, but I was like, I was maybe like 140, 145. Okay. So I was like, all right, I want to like put on some muscle. So started working out over the summer. I think I ended up maybe like 155, 160.
Those new gains are so much fun.
Yeah.
You just start putting size on.
You start like feeling your t-shirts out, like, and I was still under eating too. Like that's the biggest thing. Yeah. But anyway, like I was teaching tennis during the summer, working out a lot, like just having fun with life, and I was always lean, and so I talked to some guys who were competing, and they're like, "Yeah, man, like you can bulk up for 12 weeks, and then do a cut. Like it won't be that bad." Yeah. I was like, sweet, that's as easy as it is. So I met my trainer. He's a phenomenal dude. His name's Brett Trevino, out in Houston. He works out at Metroflex, I think.
Okay.
So
it's a hell of a gym,
dude. That gym's awesome.
Yeah.
And I was in College Station still, and I was going to Blinn, so it was focus on school, go work out. That was really all I had because I didn't really get super involved with much else. Like I was playing drums at church and a few other things, but for the most part, like that was life. Like school, working out, stay focused. And so he did all my nutrition. I did the programming. Okay. Because I was just arrogant and thought I could program well. I was like, oh, it's not that hard. And now that I'm older, I'm like, I'll never program for myself again, right? Just let somebody else do it because they know what they're doing.
For real. And less things you have to worry about.
Yeah. Oh.
So much easier.
100%.
All right, this is what we're doing.
This is what we're doing today. Yeah. So I bulked for 12 weeks, cut for about 12 weeks, and then stepped on stage. And, I mean, it was fun, and, like, I looked good. I think I got 5th out of 6. Okay. And kind of like you, like, I walked on stage, and I knew how to pose and stuff like that.
A little bit.
I don't know. It is what it is.
It wasn't for me.
Yeah, and you, like, get done, you're like, all right, well, that was fun. Yeah, basically, I went to Shipley's, and I think a lot of it. Yeah. Or no, I went to.
We went to Hop Dotties.
Krispy Kreme. That's what I did.
Hell yeah.
And so it's one of those things where I probably did it because I was insecure about my body, and then you get on stage and you're shredded. You look great. I'll probably never be that shredded again in my life. On purpose, and you're still able to find flaws in your physique, right?
That's exactly Yeah.
So you have to find this contentment somewhere else, and so that's that was the biggest thing for me. Like I'm really proud of the fact that I did it, but it's, I don't know. There's even at that level, I'm sure even people who go to Mr. Olympia and compete full time, they still have body image issues, and I don't know, that's just something that people have to deal with. So.
Yeah, I agree with that guy. That's really what it comes down to: body image issues. It's like no matter what, it was never good enough.
Yeah.
No matter how good you look, even if it was the best you ever looked,
right?
It's still not good enough because you're stepping on stage and allowing someone else to critique it, and it's just it's odd for me. Like it just wasn't my thing.
Yeah. You know what's funny is at the Ronnie Coleman Classic, I went by myself, and my coach was there for a little bit, but for the most part, I was just like chilling by myself all day. And went to the booth, met some cool people, and they're all like fitness bros and fitness chicks. And there's a CrossFit competition happening at the same time, and so I went over and I watched the CrossFit competition all day because I'd rather do that than sit around and watch people pose. I was like, this is awesome. So I guess that kind of piqued my interest in the CrossFit community. But
there's not much more, like there's not many things I get more enjoyment from than watching the CrossFit Games.
Oh yeah,
I love the CrossFit Games.
Yeah.
I think they're incredible to watch. Those guys, every athlete is a freak.
Oh yeah,
especially this year when they showed off their heavy cardiovascular skills.
Oh yeah,
people were running 5-minute miles with 30 toes to bar in the middle.
Yeah,
like it was just like
ridiculous.
What y'all are nuts?
Yeah,
nuts. And then they turn around and max snatch, and you got dudes hitting 305.
Oh yeah,
he hit it easy too. I can't remember his name.
I really wish he wouldn't have hit the jab after he had done it. I was like, come on, man, that's a little douchey, but that's all right.
I was all for it, dude. His form was literally impeccable.
Yeah, if you're throwing up 305, you can do whatever you want. I don't really care.
His form was literally perfect. He looked like he was an Olympic weightlifter. Like he could just go compete at the Olympics. His form was just, I was loving watching him. It was a clinic. I wish that they would ask him, like, hey, do you want to... I know everybody else is done.
Keep going?
You want to keep going?
Yeah.
Because I think he could have hit like 325, maybe more.
Yeah.
And it would have just been
awesome
so
snappy.
See.
Yeah.
That 305, whoop, you were like, damn.
Yeah. Yeah, it was...
So he has a bright future. I'm excited to see him.
Yeah.
He was a freak.
It was a good year.
It was a great year. Because you didn't know who was going to win the men's. You knew you knew who was going to win the women's still. Yeah. Until she retires, you're going to know.
Dude,
but
I was really bummed Bethany didn't get to go.
Dude.
I was so bummed because she won.
Especially when you saw the programming.
Yeah.
Because running is her jam.
Yeah.
Running is her jam, and I just kept thinking and gymnastics.
And she had just won the West Coast Classic too. So she's probably peaking.
Yep.
And
she's gotten so strong after moving to Vegas. She's gotten so strong, dude.
Yeah. But it was really cool, seeing her put in a situation like that, like how she responded.
Yeah.
She was just like, I just have faith that, whatever happens, or because this happened, it's just preventing me from getting like another major injury. So
yeah, that's been kind of her thing too. She's
dang.
Yeah.
That's a very mature and like that's a hard thing to say.
It was a mature way to handle it.
Yeah.
So shout out to Bethany. I still got to reschedule her. She's one of the people I got to reschedule. And yeah, dude, especially when you saw the programming, I was even more bummed. Like I was bummed that she wasn't competing even before the game started. But then when the game started, you saw all the running. You were like, oh, dude, she would have had a good chance.
Yeah.
She would have had a good chance at the podium because she just loves to run. And then you got gymnastics all through it, which is her jam already. And so that would have been cool to see. But it was cool to watch the guys this year without knowing who was going to win.
22-year-old won.
Yeah, just Medeiros is a monster. He's a monster, dude.
Yeah. So now you're like looking at the horizon. You're like, all right, how many more does he have?
But he didn't run away with it.
Yeah.
He had a decent lead, but it wasn't Matt Frazier. It wasn't Matt Frazier when it's like 400 points by day 2, and you're like, he could literally lose every event from here on out and still win.
Yeah. Did you listen to Frazier on Rogan?
Yes.
Oh,
good.
That was
good. Snickers.
He has always come off like super douchey. I think he was still pretty douchey on like Rogan, but it was like, all right, like you're a cool cat. Yeah. I think from a PR perspective, it was good for him to go on Rogan.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that seems
It's
like
great
an
for
obvious
him.
thing, but
and since then, it seems like he has
yeah,
elevated to the next
yeah.
level.
So that 3-2-1 podium that he just launched.
Yep.
A buddy of mine. I wouldn't say a buddy. That's probably like discounting him, but he helped launch that. His name's Jeremy Osborne. He's like a part of the Buttery Bros. And
Hell
like,
yeah.
I've seen he like posted something with Fraser and the Buttery Bros. And I was like, Jeremy, like, what in the world?
Yeah.
But he was a lawyer, and then he was a part of a company that IPO'd. So I think he just got like a huge payout, and I'm probably butchering that, but probably
something along those lines.
Yeah. And so he got connected with them, and then they made this company. I was like,
That's dope.
That's sick.
That's sick. That's sick for sure. And then, do you follow? I'm drawing a blank on his name now, but the Hustle Made guy. I'm drawing a big blank on his name.
I almost just said Jordan Brodey. That's not his name.
That's me. I wish that was me. I want to say Craig, but it's not Craig.
Yeah, Craig Ritchie.
Is it Craig Ritchie?
Yeah.
That's okay. I was trying to think of his last name, Ritchie.
Yeah.
And dude, following him the last 2 years, his physique change and just him in general, dude, he's getting ready to compete. And then him and Fraser, and the Buttery Bros just announced their supplement company. Is that what you were talking about?
Is Craig Ritchie a part of that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. So my buddy Jeremy, I think he like did some of the funding for that.
Gotcha. Okay, I thought you were talking about the training program.
No.
Fraser
That's the supplement company is the one that I'm talking about. So if you go look at their Instagram, Jeremy is he's in most of those photos.
Oh yeah.
So
that's dope.
Yeah, I saw him post something. I was like,
ginormous.
What in the?
Yeah, it's a ginormous opportunity, and it's
Yeah.
even more surreal. It's surreal to even know Bethany.
Oh yeah.
Like when you see Bethany, you're like, that I know that person.
Yeah.
Like we've hung out. Like that's my friend.
Yeah.
And you're just like, that's crazy. And then so I can't imagine like seeing a buddy in the pictures. You got Matt Fraser and Craig Ritchie and freaking the Buttery Bros and all them. You're like, I know that guy.
Yeah.
I know that guy.
One of my favorite things about Bethany too is that you would never anticipate that she has the following that she does because she's so humble.
Yeah.
Like in everything that she does, like she has a really good head on her shoulders. She's really well spoken, and even when what's his face? Who's the founder of CrossFit? Can't think of his name right now.
Castro?
No, not Castro.
Before Castro.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I can't think of his name right now. But he was tweeting all this like crazy stuff, and then her response to that, and a lot of the game's athletes' response to that. Yeah, Greg Glassman. Thank you. Good old Greg Glassman.
Yeah.
Was just acting a fool on Twitter. I'm sure he had like some cocaine bender, and the dude is.
That's what it always is, too.
Dude, he is nuts.
Dude, it's like if you're gonna do drugs, put your phone away, especially if you're famous.
100%.
Put your phone away. Stop it. Put it down.
Canceled.
Stop it.
Canceled.
Yeah. Save draft? No.
Nope.
No. Don't even save the draft.
Existence.
Just no.
Yeah. So, her response to that, and you just like go talk to her after a workout. She's like, "Oh yeah, that was like a little hard," or like, "I like this," and it's just she's another person.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what it is too. That's why it's even more surreal too, because sometimes you just forget. You're just hanging out with her, and then you're like, "Oh yeah, you're low key kind of famous."
Yeah. And then she can kick your ass in any workout. She was like, "You want to work out?" And I was like,
I used to race her at the end of every 7-mile run for no fucking reason, dude. It was always the worst idea ever.
Yeah, I think we did a workout one time where it was like 400-meter run, and then some toes to bar and something else, and then I think I was obviously slower than her every time, but she got faster every single time, and I progressively got either like stay consistent and then just dropped off at the end.
Yeah.
I was just like, I just can't. There's just obviously levels to it, so.
Yeah, that's a big thing to remind yourself about anything.
Yeah.
There's levels to everything.
Yeah.
There's always going to be someone better. Always someone freakier, someone better genetics, who works equally as hard, like that you can't beat.
Yeah.
Like, I could work out, well, maybe. No, definitely not. I could work out every day and never beat Austin in a freaking power clean competition or snatch. Or, like, it's not happening.
Right. But that's like a good combination, because you like look at his dad. That's freaking yoked.
Yeah.
And then, but Austin puts in the work too.
Yeah.
That's like people who are like discount people who use steroids or like in testosterone, anything like that.
Still got to put the work.
You still got to put in the work.
Still got to go work out.
Recovery's a little bit easier, but
It is easier.
you still got to put in the work, and so that's something that people don't. I don't know.
No matter what, you still got to work out.
Right.
And no matter what, you can do testosterone or Anavar or anything like that, and you're not gonna be shredded.
Right.
I wasn't shredded.
For sure.
You still have to eat properly. You still have to eat well. It's not gonna do that for you.
Yeah.
You're gonna put on muscle easier, sure. You're gonna get stronger easier, sure. But getting shredded is still equally as hard.
Yeah. I can give Tyra a shout out because
Tyra's awesome.
yeah, she good podcast with her. I listened
Awesome.
to. I don't know if I made it all the way through, but I think I listened to a little bit of it.
Oh yeah, it was so much fun. She's also one of the funniest people I know.
Oh yeah, yeah. She's great.
always
Just
on.
Always
on.
She'll tell it how it is too. I worked with her for a few months this year, and then I quit because like my schedule was going to be crazy, and so I was like, all right, I'm just gonna be on pause for a little bit, and we'll like revisit it later towards the end of the year. But she just like looked at me, and I told her all that I was eating. She's like, so you're under eating pretty bad?
Yeah.
And then as soon as I started eating more and like actually fueling my body, like my numbers and my performance in CrossFit went like way up.
Yeah.
Like I felt amazing in the gym, and it's you always hear like nutrition's really important, and I thought nutrition was good, and then I like actually look at the numbers, and you're like, oh, I do need to eat a little bit more. So
Nutrition is it's everything.
yeah,
It's literally everything.
yeah,
And if you're really disciplined with it, it can fix just about everything. Most diseases that people go through, different things like that, a lot of it is just nutrition.
yeah,
You don't even have to really work out.
yeah.
You don't have to work out. Maybe walk, do some running.
For
You don't have
sure.
to do nothing crazy. You
Get
don't
some
have
vitamin D.
Yeah, you don't have to do nothing crazy. Like, you don't have to be in the gym 7 days a week, anything like that. 3 times a week, perfect. If your nutrition is perfect, shit, 2-3 days in the gym, you're fine.
Yeah, and that's
From a health standpoint.
Yeah.
Like,
a lot of people are making a big deal about like heart health and things like that, and not to get into COVID, but they're like, all right, like why are we making a big deal about COVID, but we're not talking about heart disease and stuff like that? And I'm like, yeah, we should talk more about heart disease.
we should talk about more about it, because there's a level of accountability.
Yeah,
There has to be.
for sure. And there's been a few posts that I've seen where it's like, if you haven't done anything the past year and a half for your health, you're not really concerned about like your health, right?
Yeah, you're probably not gonna.
Yeah. So I don't know, but
I agree. I mean, there's got to be some level of accountability. But yeah.
What else you got for me?
Let's
Mr.
go back to your
Brodey.
job.
Oh, all
Let's
right.
talk about why I'm losing so much money.
Yeah, let's talk about the market.
The market's been trash.
Yeah.
All the money I've made on crypto has been offset by all the money I've lost on the market.
Oh yeah. What do you like in the crypto space?
So
I'm like slowly learning about it.
So we'll have an episode that's coming out, might be this Monday or next Monday. Brian King, this is what he does.
Okay.
And I had him on, and so a big one. This is not financial advice, but if I was putting my money somewhere, which I have, Ethereum, ADA, always buy Bitcoin. Bitcoin's always going to be around. It's not going nowhere. And then those are the 3 main ones. Ethereum is always the gold mine because, or at least people believe it to be the gold mine, because everything pretty much, all these tokens you see, all these like Shiba coins, Doge coins and whatnot, they usually originate on Ethereum's blockchain. Yeah. And so Ethereum's blockchain is just super important.
Smart contracts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ethereum does smart contracts, correct? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I heard a guy that I really like. He talked about the smart contracts that
I've never heard that
Ethereum can write. And
Okay.
so,
I mean, you're probably not wrong, because Ethereum is like the central of everything.
yeah,
They think that Ethereum might not necessarily overtake Bitcoin at one point, but Ethereum is going to be way more utilized than Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And Ethereum is going to be the one that places would accept, and then people have started accepting ADA as well.
What is ADA?
So ADA is Cardano.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So Cardano's a big one. We got in pretty early. We're doing pretty well.
Yeah.
That's one Ben talked about. Ben got in 2015.
Ben Leahy?
Yeah, Ben is the smartest person I've ever met.
Oh,
like
Ben's
okay, no, there's like 2 professors I've met in college that were smarter, but
gotta give him some credit.
but but from like a person who I know, just sit down on a personal level and have a conversation with.
Right.
He's so smart.
Oh yeah, that MIT degree doesn't come from nothing.
So smart, dude.
Yeah.
You're just like, you sit there and you listen to him articulate things, and you're just like, just keep talking, Ben.
Right.
You can take over, dude.
Yeah, because like true knowledge is, you know it, but you can also teach it to somebody else.
Yep.
Or articulate it,
Yep.
like you were saying. So.
Yep. And he's so good at it. I thoroughly enjoyed that podcast.
Yeah.
And he met the owner of Cardano in like 2015, 2016. So he got in when Cardano was like 0.0016 or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, so you...
What's it worth now?
$2. So it hit 305 last week. And right now it's sitting at like 250.
Jeez.
So he chilling.
Yeah.
Big chilling.
Yeah. I had a... That's nuts. That is...
Yeah.
That is...
He's moving to Houston. I'm sad.
I know.
But I'm happy for him.
Yeah.
Sounds like it's going to be a good move for him. But
Yeah.
I'm also kind of sad.
I'm always... I think I'm at the point in life where, when friends are going to come and go.
Sure.
That's just a part of life.
Sure.
And instead of being sad, it's like, all right, hey, I understand you got to do what's best for you, like you and your family. I'm sad that you're going to be gone, but like...
I'm going to support you no matter what.
Yeah, like at some point, friends aren't going to be necessarily around all the time.
Yeah.
But I'll be in and out of Houston, and he's already said, like, hey, hit us up. We'll grab lunch. And
Yep. And it's also the perk of social media.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
There's some negativity that comes from it, but the perk is that your friends are never actually gone.
Are there bad things with social media?
Oh, yeah.
No. What?
No, not at all. Not at all. It doesn't deserve a warning sign.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother tangent, too.
Yeah.
But that's the good thing, because that's the one thing about that social media that is really positive. Your friends are never actually not there.
Right.
Like, you can talk to anybody all the time, always. And you can also keep up with them and see what they're doing. And, there's some people, there's always some friends who are like, oh, I'm so sorry that we don't talk as much. It's like, hey, it's cool. We're all adults. We all got our own shit to do. We can't sit here and text every single person we've ever come in contact with all the single time, every single day and all the time. Just keep posting your pictures. I'm going to keep liking them. We can keep it going.
Yeah.
Like, I see what you're doing. I respect it. I appreciate it. You don't got to apologize for not talking to me or vice versa or whatever. It's like, look, I see what you're doing. I love it. Keep doing it. We can just have, small conversations here and there. And I'll never think of that person differently.
Yeah.
Regardless of how long we don't talk for.
Right.
As long as we were friends and we were cool, doesn't matter if we don't talk again for another 3 years. That's been the best part about this.
Yeah.
So there's an episode that came out last week, was Caitlin's. I went to high school with her, and I haven't seen her since high school.
But you still know all about her life from social media.
But we still were keep up on social media. But we really hadn't talked at all.
Yeah.
And then I hit her up for this, and she was in Morocco doing Peace Corps. I said Lebanon in the post too. I had to change it. She hit me up and she was like, I was in Morocco, and I was like, oh fuck. That's the another issue of episodes coming out 6 weeks later. I was like, I'm pretty sure it's Lebanon, but no, she was in Morocco. Huh?
Peace Corps.
What? Yeah, Peace Corps. What did I say?
Peace Corps?
Did I say corpse? Dead people, peace, corpse. Yeah, contradictory a little bit.
Ruffle some feathers.
Yeah, canceled. No, so yeah, she was in the Peace Corps, and so that's been a cool thing. And then just last week, or the last episode that we recorded, was another friend from high school that I hadn't seen in years. She's doing commercial real estate in San Antonio, and that was super cool to catch up with her. She came out here, brought tamales.
There we go.
So good.
I'm sorry, I just brought a bang.
That was
I did hit you up, dude. I did.
And then I was like, no, I'm good. And then you get here, and so about that bang though.
Yeah.
Free advertisement, by the way.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, I'll put on the bikini, man. Just
boom.
let me know.
Dude. All of them. Fuck, where were we?
We were talking. Ben was leaving, talking about social media.
I feel like we were segueing.
We were talking about
we
my
were
work.
Definitely trying to talk about your work still. Yeah, that's where we started.
Yeah, we're talking about Cardano and Ben
Yeah.
Leahy
So
being a
crypto.
genius.
So I've made more money on crypto, but all the money I've made on crypto, all the money I've made on crypto, I've lost in the market pretty much.
So I've recently allocated some money into the crypto market.
Good. I would highly
I
recommend
bought my boss had Venmo'd me $100 because it was like this fantasy football thing, and I was like, you know what? You can just buy it on Venmo. So like, let's just do it. So I did, and I don't know, like I put $100 in, so I'm not gonna get rich off it, but it was like, all right, cool. Like I might dollar cost average into it, or something like that. So, but yeah, Ethereum's the one that I'm bullish on, just based off of what I've read and heard, and like you were saying, it's kind of the basis for a lot of things. But
and it's still a great time to get in. Right now, it's still on a fire sale.
Yeah.
Last year this time, or earlier this year, it was like 4,400. Right now, it's like 3,200. So this is still a great time to get in. Yeah. Bitcoin too, like he was telling me that he was like still buy bits and pieces of Bitcoin. Just set it up on a monthly thing. Yeah. Just put the money in there and just let it keep going. They suspect next year should be a pretty monster year for crypto. Pretty bullish. Yeah. Especially as places continue, these big companies, especially as they keep saying like, oh yeah, we're going to invest in this one.
Right. And from an institutional standpoint, like some funds are moving in that way too. Kathy Wood is, do you know anything about ARK Invest? Or so she runs
Educate me.
A company called ARK Invest.
Okay.
And they are known for their innovation fund. So the ticker's ARKK. Mm-hmm. And so big investors in Tesla, genomics companies, and things in the innovation space. So it's really volatile. Last year she was up over 100%. Okay. This year she's down about 30%. Okay. And so she's had a really good run.
Still up 70%.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She's crushing it. But that company has filed the first true Bitcoin ETF. Okay. And so that is something that's, I don't know if it's going to get past the SEC, just because from a compliance and regulation standpoint, that's the point. Like there's no regulation to it, and so
that is that is the point.
So I'm curious if it's going to be able to pass, but there are plenty of companies that you can invest in that either mine crypto and make money that way, or are investing in other things like Silvergate Capital, for example. We used to own that in our portfolio, but they have a deal with Facebook because Facebook's going to come out with their own crypto, and so I don't know if that deal has actually fallen through, but that's another company where they mine crypto or do some sort of thing and make money off of it. But anyway, there's all that to say, like there's ways of being in crypto without
necessarily being full blown in crypto. Yeah, because there's kind of a lot that goes to it. We talked about it in the episode with Brian. He was talking about how don't ever leave your money on the exchanges, and then you start talking about digital wallets, and then that's when things get real crazy, because then you start talking about digital wallets that you can actually physically hold, and you're like, wait, how is this a digital wallet at this point?
We heard about that guy who
Wow.
died, and I think he had like 250 million of other people's money in a digital wallet, and you know where that money is now? Long gone. People are never going to get it back.
There's people who lost their hard drive that had Bitcoin on it.
Oh yeah,
millions of dollars, and they were dumpster diving. Not even dumpster diving. They were landfill diving.
Yeah,
dude, could you imagine buying it in like 2012 and then completely forgetting about it? And then you see the news and you're like, oh yeah, shit! I threw that computer away.
60,000 earlier this year. I can't even imagine, but
I threw that computer away 6 years ago. Fuck.
Yeah, crypto is an interesting space, and
it is. It's fun.
Yeah, it's the point where people have made so much money on it. I think that's where like NFTs are coming in, where people just draw a squiggly line. Yeah. And then it sells for 250,000.
NFTs are becoming huge. I've seen on Twitter now, Steph Curry, Des Bryant, all these big players are starting to get in. Trevor Lawrence took his entire signing bonus of $20 million in crypto. Richard Okung took his entire salary in 2017 or 2018 completely in crypto, and then he became the third highest paid player, something along those lines.
He's a Panther, right?
I don't know where he is right now, but he plays online.
Okay, yeah,
he plays on the line. Mm-hmm. And he took his entire salary in crypto in like 2017, I think. and then it made him like the third highest paid player by now, and it's just like, oh, so people are really starting to adopt it, and people really like the idea.
Right.
But I think as a lot of people who explain it, who really understand the space well, like Brian and Ben, they're saying, look, you're investing in the technology.
Right.
The coin doesn't really matter. You're investing in the technology and what blockchain can really do for us.
Right.
And Ben talked about how, with the medical field, with decentralizing your medical records and actually being able to own your own medical records and all these things. And the blockchain can really do a lot of good. Crypto aside, the blockchain technology can do us a lot. And people believe that blockchain is the future. Forget the actual like cryptocurrencies. You're investing in blockchain, which can really change lives. And I can't necessarily articulate why, but I just understand a lot of people say it's just the future of the internet or internet 2.0. Like this is the next step because everything on there is so widely secure and nothing can be duplicated. And speaking of digital wallets, like in order to get into one of my digital wallets, it's a 16 words password.
Jeez.
It's insane. And you can never reset it. So if you lose it, you're bye-bye. There's all that money. Gone.
Jeez.
You can never reset it. They'll never send you a new one. You have to keep it. You have to hold on to it. Put it in a safe, the whole 9 yards. And so that's a little stressful. But it makes sense, though, because you want it to be as secure as it can get.
Right.
Like, especially if you're going to invest a lot of money into it. And with how volatile it is, if that thing shoots up 50% in one day, you're like, oh, out?
Yeah.
And then it never fails. It's almost always going to go back down. So you just sell at the peak, rebuy, and then rinse and repeat. And crypto is just constantly up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, which I think makes a lot of people nervous.
Yeah.
But I think if you're a long-term holding, the up and down really doesn't matter too much as long as you believe in the technology.
Right. And I always tell people, even when it comes to what I do on the from a professional standpoint.
Yeah. What is it that you do?
Yeah.
I think we've been trying to talk about this 4 times now.
So there's investing, there's trading.
Yeah.
Like trading is, all right, I'm going to buy, say Apple at 130, and then I'm going to sell it at 150.
Yep.
If you're investing, you buy Apple at 130, and you hold it for 20 years.
Yeah.
Right. And it makes sense to like shave some of it off, but Apple will always be a core holding, for example. Personally, I'm long Apple. I love Apple as a company.
I love Apple as a company as well.
It's great.
Yep.
But when it comes to what I do, where to start? So I kind of went over it at the beginning, but personal wealth management, and that can come from like personal finance, what I do with my paycheck, retirement planning, and we have what's called a CFP on staff, which is the Certified Financial Planner.
Okay.
Because I did a lot of financial plans at my old job, and I never want to do another one again. Like I'll give him all the information, and then he goes and like he plugs all the things in, does all the projections, and then we'll get together, have a meeting, and then we'll present it to the client together. And that's just a way of working as a team, and then building a company. So that's one thing, and then we do some 401k consulting where we go in and say, like, y'all have a 401k. We go in, say, all right, are you paying too much for this? Are you in good funds? Just kind of do an audit. Able to do that, and then setting up a few small business retirement plans. So a lot of different things, and then portfolio management is probably 70 to 80% of what I do.
Okay.
And then I'm client facing or consulting the other 20%. So we run 3 sleeves. And the first sleeve is what we call an innovation sleeve. And that is your Teslas, your biogenomics kind of companies, SunPower. Let's see, what else is in there right now? I can't think of anything else off the top of my head. You know, Square, for example. Like innovative companies that are going to be around. And if they're able to do what they say they're going to do, they're going to change the world.
Yeah, I'm holding Tesla for...
Yeah.
I have Tesla and then Virgin Galactic. I have a bunch of other ones too, but those are my 2 where I'm like, those are long-term holds.
Virgin's an interesting one.
Dude, it has went...
Yeah.
It's like crypto in there. I'm like, dude, you're killing me.
And then it was a Reddit stock for a little bit too. Yep. And so it just like shot up, no pun intended.
Let's talk about that too.
We'll
it's a space company for people who don't know.
Yeah. So that's our innovation sleeve. That's going to be, somebody as young as us, we're going to be in that, and it's going to be a bumpy ride. Like last year, we had some portfolios up over 100%, which is
crazy last year.
Probably never going to happen again in my life.
Yeah.
As an advisor,
It was nuts.
it was nice to like kind of check that off, but this year we were up maybe 25% at the beginning of the year. We had a really good run up, and a lot of that was due to what Biden was saying whenever he was elected president. He said, we're going to go towards cleaner energy, all these innovation companies that will help the environment. We're going to put some money behind them with this infrastructure bill. Fast forward 6 months later, we had a crash in the innovation market. And I call it a crash because you're down 25-30%, especially from a up 25% peak. So it's down about 30%. And so a lot of the client calls that I'm having, and they're not down that full 30% because we have other positions in the portfolio. So that is a bit exaggerated, but
that particular portion of the portfolio is down 30%.
Right. Well,
or
that space, not our portfolio, because we have like a cash holding and there's a few other things in it, but we're not down that much. Yeah. I don't know how much I want to actually like give away, right? But yeah, we're good. But we look at the companies that we're in. Those companies are still growing 30% year over year. So that's where you have the conversation: are you investing or are you trying to trade? And so a lot of conversations with clients are, hey, yeah, stock might be down right now, but we believe in the process and what they're doing. And you look at their sales, their revenue. They're on the way to profitability. They're growing 30% year over year. This company's going to be fine.
Yeah.
And especially once they make it, so to speak, then they're really going to be okay. And when I say make it, I mean be a part of everybody's day-to-day life. So that's kind of the innovation space. We have our global core, and I have an active hand in all three of these.
Okay.
And our global core is your Apple, Microsoft, your Amazon, Visas. Not super sexy companies, but they're still growing really well.
Steady.
Yeah, you're going to find them in the S&P 500.
Yep.
For the innovation, you can look more like the NASDAQ or even Cathie Wood's like ARK as an index if you want. So those companies in the global core are growing 10 to 20% year over year. They're profitable. Most of them are paying a dividend with a few exceptions, but they're not going anywhere anytime soon. They're probably already a part of your day-to-day life.
Sure.
Apple, Microsoft, again, Amazon.
Yep.
Like, what do we not? 14% of all retail sales are from Amazon.com. So it still has a huge runway to go. So we like those companies. And that's going to be somebody who's, high earning year. They're getting a little bit closer to retirement. And then last, we have our what we call strategic income, which is like your Coca-Colas, your Johnson & Johnsons, your high dividend companies, Verizon, for example.
AT&T?
That would fit in the portfolio. They have a little bit too much debt for my liking.
Okay.
But yeah, I think they're the most.
But they have a fat dividend, I think.
Yeah, but they're also one of the most in-depth companies in like, the world.
Okay.
Because they had a few like acquisitions and anyway.
Yeah.
So those companies, they're growing a steady 5 to 10% a year. And when Coke grows 5% a year or buys another company, which is usually what they do, that's 5% of a company that large is a lot. Yeah. So typically,
it's crazy how all of those companies can continue to buy other companies.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
You're just like, and then you start reading about it, and you're like, because nothing's ever named Coke.
Right.
Only Coke is named Coke.
Right.
But then you're like, I can't even think of nothing off the top of my head. But you're drinking something, and you're like, isn't Naked? Is it Naked or Naked's owned by Coke?
I believe so.
One of those soda companies they're owned by. And you're drinking it and you're like, oh, this is so healthy. And then you're like, fuck, owned by Coke.
Well, big CrossFit thing this year was they were sponsored by Monster Energy.
Yep.
Everybody
had
sugar free.
Monster.
Yeah. The sugar free one. And people were real upset about that. But at some point you have to start making money as a company. So I get it.
It's a fine line, right? You're like, okay, we do CrossFit. We kind of want to promote health and fitness, but also Monster wants to sponsor us. So here's your Monster can.
Yeah. So with those 3 strategies, usually it'll be a blend of 2 or 3 of them
Okay.
For a client. And then as somebody gets older to retirement, we're just going to talk about preservation of principal, and they'll just be closer to the our strategic income.
Sure.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
And how can someone reach out to you, or how does that process begin, or like what are some of the things you're looking for, or they should be looking for when searching for someone that does what you do?
Yeah. So I'll start with what you should look for in an advisor,
Okay.
because it can be pretty tricky because everybody seems to know a guy,
Sure.
and everybody swears by their guy, right?
Yeah.
And in reality, I've had a lot of conversations where it's like, your guy kind of sucks. So, with looking for an advisor, number one thing was I want to know how they're going to be compensated, right? Because if there's a conflict of interest in play, why would I work with them? And
What's an example?
So there are some advisors who still will do commission products,
Okay.
or let's say every time you want to make a trade, they're going to be compensated on the trade.
Sure.
Like you pay them like $5 or $10. And I don't do that because, let's say I want a little bonus. I could theoretically go in and like trade your account. You know, if an advisor is doing that, you're probably going to fire them, but it can happen. And so what we do is we have it's called an AUM model, or a fee-based model. And so we charge a certain percentage every year. And as the client's account grows, I get paid more. If the client's account goes down, I would be compensated less.
Okay.
But we're on the same side of the table, and so it makes sense that I'm not going to do anything that's not out of your best interest. And so I'm what you would call a fiduciary. And some, even some large firms aren't fiduciaries.
Can you explain what's a fiduciary?
So that means that legally I have to act in your best interest.
Okay.
And if you think I haven't, then you can come after me and sue me.
Okay.
So that's number one thing. I would want to know how they're going to be compensated. Number 2, would want to know about their process and how they go about choosing the investments they do. At Iron Oak Wealth, we have basically a sheet. It's like, all right, is this company hitting this metric, this metric, this metric? Cool. We have our quantitative already down. Now let's look at the qualitative, because that's the hardest part about valuing a company. That's why Warren Buffett was one of the best investors of all time. It's because he was able to look at the leadership behind a company and say, all right, do I believe in these people? Are they going to be able to capitalize on whatever product they have? And then what's the future look like? That's the hardest part. Anybody can look at the quantitative and come up with some sort of thing that looks good. The qualitative is the really hard part. So
Okay.
that's what we'll do for all of our strategies, and make sure that they fall in line within our metrics. So that's number 2. And then I guess number 3, you would want to, I'm trying to think, there's a few things that I could talk about, but talk about compensation. I'm trying to think of a third one off the top of my head.
On the spot.
Yeah, I know.
No pressure.
And I've done a podcast and we cover like 3 or 4 of these. So compensation, process, and then the team environment that they're around. I would want to make sure that it's not just them, that they're working with a team. So with anything, like there's a think tank, and you want to make sure that they're bouncing ideas off of other people, rather than just like
That makes sense.
sitting in an echo chamber of, yeah, this is a great idea.
Because then it's only you thinking it.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're always going to be right. Like, humans are incredibly prideful, and I don't think that escapes investing. So
That makes sense.
yeah.
Okay.
So those are the 3 things
To look for when looking for an advisor.
Yeah.
Okay.
With me, how you can contact me, I'll give you all my info and you can put it out.
Oh, yeah,
but
we'll put it on there.
Shoot me a text, or maybe not shoot me a text. Give me an email.
Let's take the email.
Might get some. Yeah, might get some.
My realtor put her phone number in the podcast, and then I was thinking about it afterwards. I was like, let's go ahead and edit that out.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Let's stick to the email.
mharris@ironoakwwealth.com. And typically what I'm working with is entrepreneurs
Okay.
who are making anywhere from like $250 a year plus, and then have about $100,000 in assets to invest.
Okay.
Anything less than that, which I'm willing to work on and take on, it just looks a little bit different from a diversification standpoint. From the sleeves that we run, those are going to be individual companies. anything less, we would put in ETFs, and we can be as aggressive as we want with an ETF or as less aggressive as we want. Should I explain what an ETF is? You know what that is?
Go for it.
Yeah.
Because I vaguely know. I kind of know, but I can't explain it.
Fine. So think of like a pencil.
Mm-hmm.
Snap a pencil. You don't have a pencil anymore. You're kind of screwed. Now you think of a bunch of pencils together. You try to break that, it's going to be a lot harder.
Yeah.
So an ETF is a bunch of companies like those pencils, where if one of those snaps, it's going to be held together by all those other pencils. So there's like the S&P 500. There's an ETF of all those 500 companies. And so when Apple's down like 5% in the day, we don't see the general market be down 5% because it's held up by all these other companies.
Correct.
So the only difference between that's what's called passive investing. And there's some actively managed ETFs, but for the most part, that's going to be passive. And then actively managed ETFs, or what's called mutual funds, they're just going to be taking those pencils in and out and trading more often.
Okay. So like the companies kind of cycle through.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. ETF, you're just going to set it and forget it. And then, if something really bad happens, then you'll change it. But typically you'll leave it alone.
Just hold it.
Yeah.
Sure. And then, so you mostly work with a little bit wealthier customers. So what is something that you would recommend to somebody, say their 20s and their 30s, they're trying to get set up for the future. They don't necessarily have a ton of cash, but they have some. What's some of the most important things you would recommend when it comes to trying to get yourself set up for the future at a younger age?
Yeah. So one, admit if you need help.
Okay.
Biggest thing. Like if you have no idea, come talk to me. I'm willing to talk to anybody. And like I said, as long as I'm willing to take most people on, as long as we're willing to make a plan to where they can eventually get to a certain point.
Okay.
Right. And so one, admit that you don't know what you don't know. And that takes a lot. Like I said, people are really prideful
tough.
And
it's tough.
They want to go and buy investing for dummies and knock it out for themselves, or there's just a plethora of resources out there right now. So if you don't want to do it, that's fine. Same thing when it comes to trading. Typically when I meet somebody who's younger, they want to get rich really fast. And so they're like, hey, I'm just going to trade Apple options and it'll be great. All right, that's cool.
I've definitely done a few.
Have fun,
Yeah.
But you realize really fast, do I want to do this or do I not want to do this? Because investing can be very emotional, and that's why I have a job.
Yeah.
Is because I take the emotion out of it.
True.
And
Job security.
Right. That's a lot of the conversations I'd have. It's all right, let's take a step back and take the emotion out of it.
Yep.
Let's look at the actual numbers and what does it say. And so, yes, admitting what you don't know is very important. And then 2, staying consistent.
Okay.
So that can be you put in a certain amount every month, a certain amount every 2 months, but just getting started doing whatever you need to do. And there are a lot of resources out there, like Wealthfront will automatically put money in for you, and you don't have to worry about it. Again, if somebody wants a really simple portfolio, give me a call and I'll shoot it your way. It's not financial advice, but I'll send it your way. That will generate typical market returns are going to be 8 to 10% a year. It's not going to be anything sexier than that. So stay consistent, and then admit what you don't know. And then I hesitate to say this one, but invest in what you do know.
Yeah.
If you know Apple products really well, it might make sense for you to invest in Apple.
Sure.
If you use Microsoft day in and day out, buy some Microsoft. So, again, not financial advice. I do love Apple and Microsoft. I own both of them in my portfolio. But yeah, those are typically the 3 things that I would recommend when it comes to investing. And the caveat to that is I've met a lot of older dudes who have worked for companies for 20 or 30 years, and every time I talk to them, without fail, they're saying, oh, man, my stock is so undervalued right now. Our company, we're crushing it, and you should buy our company. And I just don't, because all right, if your company's undervalued and it's been that way for 20 or 30 years,
maybe not going to change.
I don't want to hurt your feelings, man, but maybe not for me. So,
but I guess more so, would you recommend someone investing in the market necessarily, or maybe like starting with their 401k at work, or what do you think? Like, what's good? Like, what's a good start? Like a good start?
Yeah.
Because it is kind of tough to just get started because there's so many options.
100%.
Because you could buy out, like you could do it on your own, go in there, buy some Apple, buy some Microsoft. Now on Robinhood, you can buy partial stocks and the whole 9 yards. And but then you got 401k, and then I personally have a New York Life account. I put in there. So for retirement, like what is it that you would recommend that's like maybe, I guess, somewhat safer option, less volatile, or just a good place to start?
Yeah. So if you have a company that has a 401k, try to contribute up to the match.
Okay.
If they have a match. Because as great at my job as I think I am, I can't match the 100% that you're going to get back. Like if you put in 2% and your company matches 2%, it's already 100%. Yep. And like, I'm good. I'm not that good, right? Like 200% right off the bat. Boom. I can't do it. I could. It'd just be a wild ride. But anyway, at least put it up to the match and get that free money. And then from there, you can start talking about, do I want to put it into like a Roth IRA or a regular IRA or a regular account? And that's where financial planning is really important. And so you can do that yourself, again, if you want to sit down and look at the numbers, or you can go and talk to somebody. Anybody that comes to me from this podcast, I'll sit down with them and we'll go over a financial plan for free, whatever their situation looks like, just so they have steps that they can take.
Sure.
Just tell me that you found me on Jordan's podcast and I'll do it. Preston will love it. He loves crunching numbers. I don't, but I'll present it to you.
Fair enough.
So yeah, 401k for sure, because you're still investing in the stock market.
Yeah.
It's just those funds that you're investing in are a little bit safer because they have to hit a certain criteria in order to be listed on that platform. Okay. And so that's where we start. And then you can talk about like a Roth IRA or a 401k, or in some cases, let's say you want to save up for a down payment on a house. Maybe you want to contribute less to your 401k or your IRA or your New York Life account or whatever it is. That's where financial advice from a broad perspective is very difficult because everybody's situation is unique.
Sure.
So, yeah, if your company has a 401k, put in money there.
This is a good place to start.
Yeah.
And then, would you say like a retirement fund? Would you say that's another good one? Like, I guess a separate one per se?
Like an IRA. So IRA is individual retirement account.
Okay.
Then 401k is a retirement account as well. It's just what's called an employer-sponsored plan. And then an IRA is an individual retirement account.
Gotcha. Something that you put on your own.
Correct.
On the side.
And then there's like the Roth option and all these other things. But yeah, starting with a 401k, and then depending on your financial goal, typically it makes sense to contribute to an IRA of some sort, and then maybe a traditional brokerage account. But you always want to have a little bit in savings as well. So
sure, I always want to have that OSHA fund.
Yeah,
gotta have it. Gotta have the savings account first. That's usually what I tell somebody is like, okay, get the savings account to X dollar that you feel comfortable. Yeah, and then you can start doing all the other stuff. Right. But you gotta have an OSHA fund just in case. And most people just don't. Yeah. Most people just crazy and don't.
I mean, this might sound a little contradictory, but I'm really big on credit cards.
Yep, me too.
I
never use a debit card.
Yeah. I call every 6 months and I get my credit increased. Okay. Because the more credit you have and the less that you use, the better it looks on your credit score. Yep. So, I mean, I think I have something close to like $50,000 worth of credit. Yep. So if something does happen, I'm good. Yeah. I
gotta pay it back.
Hopefully I never do that with like my 20% interest rate. But like my credit score is good, and I maybe put like $2,000, $2,500 on a credit card every month. So
and then you just pay it off.
Right.
I tell people you're already spending that money.
Right.
You might as well reap the benefits of whatever credit card you have. Yeah. And then B, you impact your credit score positively, and then C, you're already spending. You have to get gas.
Oh yeah.
You have 100%. You have to get groceries. Yep. You have to, your phone bill, things like that. you have to do that.
Right.
So why would you continue to use a debit card and never get anything for it?
Right.
Paying for stuff that you know you have to get.
Right. And that's not something that my industry taught me. I had a friend that was like, dude, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, you're right.
Yeah.
And I just bought a new truck, and my credit score was like really low. So my credit score was really high. Excuse me.
Woo!
Yeah. Credit score was good, and so I got a really good like interest rate.
We're paying
it.
18% on your truck.
Yeah, that's good, right?
I thought that was good. I left with a deal.
Yeah, right. So yeah, it's they're powerful tools if you know how to use them.
Absolutely.
There are financial gurus out there like Dave Ramsey, for example, who's like, don't use a credit card, don't ever use it, and I don't think that's practical for the normal the regular person. Because you do need a credit score, and you do need to be increasing
unless
it,
you're widely wealthy.
Yeah,
it's the only time you really don't need credit. But even then, those guys aren't paying for everything in cash either,
right?
Unless they're stupid wealthy.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. So, like I said, like I call every 6 months, get my credit increased, make sure that I'm good on that end, and again, hopefully I never have to use it. But
yeah, because most places will. At least I know for my Discover card, I can request an increase, but I can also request for it not to hit my credit. And so they just give they'll just give you it won't be as large of an increase.
Yeah.
But for me, I think they increased it like $4,000, but they didn't run my credit again.
Yeah.
And so that is also something that you can do too. You can call those guys and be like, hey, what can you increase it without doing an inquiry?
Right.
So that's big too.
Yeah. And then hard line and pull on your credit's always like a pain in the ass.
Yeah. So. Yeah, because then it stays around for forever.
Yeah.
Now, once you hit 750 and above, inquiries aren't as big of a deal.
Yeah.
But if you got 6 of them in a year, 7 of them in a year, then it's gonna come down.
For sure.
But no, I'm with you. That's what I've always preached. Just people that I come in contact with. I've been telling this dude he got a Discover card finally. And that's all he uses. Yeah. So that's good. And then. I try to tell everybody that, and I understand that you can get in trouble, but if you just buy the stuff that you're gonna buy anyways, there's almost zero risk to it. Yeah, and then you get the cash back, or if you have an American Express or something like that, you get the points.
Amex, baby.
Yeah, I'm always using my Amex, especially at HEB. 4 times back
Gold
every
guy?
time. Yeah.
What do you have?
I just have a gold card.
Okay.
Yeah. I got the platinum sitting on my counter over there still because I just closed on the house, so finally I can maybe do it. But then I'm like, $695 a year.
Yeah, and if you travel a lot, like
the perks are great.
Yeah, but if you travel, like I
don't travel that much.
Yeah,
not as much as I would like because my job.
Flying is whatever.
But they're doing 100,000 points. And all you have to do is spend $6,000 in 6 months. I was like, oh, that's every month.
Yeah,
that's no
easy.
problem.
Yeah,
that's easy. That's spending all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like 100,000 points.
Yeah.
That's a good trip right there.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
That's a good trip. Plus all the perks, $200 credits on everything: Uber, airline, hotels.
Yeah.
The platinum card is dope, but that that yearly fee is just.
Yeah. Yeah. With the perks, like I guess we both get $10 on a Uber every month and stuff like that. But
I always forget.
Oh yeah,
I never use it. That's another reason why I can't get I'm like this close to getting the platinum card, but at the same time, I know myself.
Yeah.
I know I will forget all the perks.
Oh yeah.
And I was talking to a customer at work, and that's exactly what he said. He said if you can keep up with the perks and you pay attention and you make sure to utilize them every year, it's wonderful.
It's great.
Upgrade. But if you ain't gonna use the perks, stick to the gold card. And I was like, I probably ain't gonna use the perks. I'll just stick to the gold card.
Yeah, no doubt.
So I have, and then the Apple card is my other.
Oh, sweet.
I go back and forth. So Amex is at restaurants and HEB, and then Apple card is pretty much everything else. Yeah. Because I love just getting that instant cash back into my Apple Cash, and then I'll save up like $100 in Apple Cash, and then I'll just use it every time I go somewhere that takes Apple Pay, on small things. So if I go to the gas station, that takes Apple Pay and like $5 a day. I'll use it on it, and then I'm getting even more cash back for using Apple Pay, and then I just continue to get more Apple Cash, so then I'm almost virtually never spending that money.
Yeah, right on.
And so it all kind of works out.
Sweet.
But yeah, I'm the same way. I try to preach that as much, because people don't get taught that often.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that's a big failing in like the American education system, right? Like you go to school and I can't tell you pretty much anything that I learned in science class, like gravity and all this other stuff. Like I understand it, but you know, like
I know it keeps me touching the ground every day,
for sure. But like it's not pertinent to my job. No. So yeah, I think that is a big failing, and you know, that's part of my job where I go in and I like educate people, and it's one of my favorite things to do is to educate. But yeah, it's pretty brutal. And something else when it comes to like an emergency fund, I think Dave Ramsey says like 12 months cash.
That's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money on the sidelines.
You have to be making a good amount of salary.
Yeah.
And you have to be living pretty chill.
Yeah. But if you're our age, we can get a job pretty easy. Like no matter what we're doing, like we can just make it work. And so typically I'll say people, you know,
on and off.
Just going crazy over there.
Doesn't know what the fuck
like
to
2
do.
or 3 months, if you have a solid job and like you're smart and competent, like you'll be fine.
Yeah.
'Cause you can pick something up, or you can drive Uber for a few months if you need to.
Yeah, especially in Austin. There's never.
Yeah.
You shouldn't necessarily be ever struggling.
Yeah.
For cash, as long as you're willing to just do stuff like Uber.
Yeah.
Do the things that maybe have a little bit of a negative stigma to them, but it's like, hey, those guys make bank. You wake up at like 3-4 in the morning, you go chill by the airport.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Killing it. Or if you go downtown at 2-3 o'clock in the morning.
The craziest Uber ride I've ever had was I had to drop my car off at Riata Ford, which is down like 290.
Okay.
This guy picks me up. He's driving me back up to Cedar Park. He's like, yeah, usually around 5 a.m. I pick up these girls from the strip club that they've been working all night, and you know, Candy will sit up front, and like Chanel's in the back, or like I don't even know their names. But he's like, yeah, and then we just chat about the night and how they've been doing. I was like, all right, well, cool, man. I'm just trying to go back home.
I don't have nearly as interesting of a story.
Yeah, I was like, hey, you can just throw my number their way, I guess.
Not to disappoint, but my day wasn't all that interesting, actually. I actually just dropped my truck off at the store. That was it.
Yeah.
But I enjoy that part of my job, is when I meet people either from a different country or whatever, and I get to pick their brain every once in a while. So I could imagine Ubering being kind of fun.
Yeah.
And then it obviously has its downfalls too. Someone throws up in your car, someone's too drunk.
Yeah.
Someone acting a fool. It's like, but that's no matter what you do, it doesn't matter. We had a dude come in the store that was acting a fool over a pillow. It's like, bro, you should be grateful your couch got delivered right now. And you're upset about a pillow? Chill.
100%.
And so it's like, it doesn't matter what you do, you're always going to deal with somebody.
Yeah.
And but I think getting to hear some of those stories, like you said, picking up strippers at 5 a.m., I'm sure there's never a dull moment. I'm sure every single day you pick them up, they have a crazy story. Yeah. And I would just sit there and be like, this is great. Like
usually whenever I get in an Uber, I'm like, you want to talk or you just want to like chill? Yeah. And like, I'm down with whatever, dude, but let me know. Can I run the Russian really fast?
Yeah.
All right.
You're good. Go for it. I've been holding it for a little bit. We're getting close. Where are we at? 2 hours exactly? Oh.
1 hour.
Oh my gosh. You lied to me. Jeffrey Roth over here lying. Hit through his teeth.
I rounded up.
That's crazy. We don't round up. This doesn't work, okay?
I want to ask a question.
What you got?
Well, the thing about like having as many credit cards open, having as much credit open as possible, it being a good thing. Like I was telling Rebecca that she wants to close her card.
Yeah. Oh,
Don't
do that.
Definitely don't.
No, never do that.
Like, if anything,
For those who can't hear him, he's saying, why is it like he's explaining why it's good to have such a large credit limit on your cards, because it makes your utilization look way lower. So if he has 50,000 worth of credit limits open, he can have 5,000 revolving, and it doesn't look like he has anything. because you want to keep it under 30%.
And so I was telling her that, and then I was like, no, if anything, you want like increases, you want as much credit as possible. And Jules was like, no, that's actually not true. And I didn't even feel like arguing it, but I was like, that's not what I've heard. Like, you want as much as possible, and not using it.
Sure.
It looks bad.
Yeah, because for me, when I was closing on the house, my biggest thing is, like we were saying, I use my credit cards every single day. And so I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to use my credit cards and I was going to have to use my debit card. But because the way that my bank account's set up is there's not like there's money in my bank account, but it's in my savings. And so my checking revolves around the paychecks. And then my credit cards, I use them all month. And so my bank account always looks fine. But then it's like in reality, it's not, because the credit cards the auto pays are about to come through. And so essentially it's just a revolving door. And what the fuck were we just talking?
I just wanted to ask, like, is there ever a scenario where it's not okay to have as much credit open as possible?
Oh, that's where I was going with that.
If you were a responsible adult, can they like hear on this?
They can't hear him now.
Oh, okay.
Well, they might hear him a little bit, but yeah.
All right, so the question is there ever a scenario where having credit, like too much credit, is a bad thing? The answer to that is no.
As long as you're responsible with it.
As long as you're responsible with it. If you see like
Jules was like, and I didn't want to argue with her.
Yeah.
Someone we work with.
Yeah.
Like, because somebody wanted to close their credit card. And I was like, don't close it.
Yeah, just cut it.
Just let it go.
Yeah. Don't worry about it.
And she's like, if anything, you want as much credit as possible. You want to open accounts.
Right.
And get increases. And Jules, or someone else we work with, was like,
Yeah.
oh, no, definitely don't do that. It's not always good to have as much credit. Okay, I'm not going to do this.
Yeah, for me, so that's what I was saying. So with the closing, they said as long as I was under 30% utilization, I'm fine, which would come directly into play with what we're talking about, because my credit limits are high enough to where I was never going to hit 30%.
Yeah.
I could hold balances, carry them over from month to month if I needed to, if something happened, because I make sure to pay every month's balance off every time, but there's always next month's balance chilling on the credit card. So there's always a month on there every time.
Yeah.
They're never at zero, because you still want some utilization, because that also helps, but you just don't want too much.
Right.
And they told me as long as the lender was like, as long as you stay under 30%, you're good. I was like, oh, cool. I can continue to use my credit cards as normal, because I'm never going to exceed 30% of my credit limit. It's just too much.
Are we recording still?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, we're good.
All right.
Yeah, we're still going.
Sweet.
Yeah, I was holding it down, dude.
All
I was holding it down. Yeah.
All right, what's next? We got a few more minutes?
Yeah, we got a little bit.
How much time do we have?
We're at 2 hours, so we're pretty close to.
All right, cool.
We're pretty close to
wrap up
whenever.
in like
Yeah, we can wrap it up.
10 or so.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta pee, so we can wrap it up soon.
What else you got?
What
for
you
me?
got?
What do you want to know?
Me?
Oh, dude,
Got
what's the fall look like for you? How about that?
The fall?
Yeah. Besides getting over this injury.
Yeah, so we're entering fight camp. And for me, I'm like the juggernaut when it comes to sparring with everybody. I'm always the one everyone's like trying to fucking kill. And I've brought it upon myself. I talk some shit. Can't
imagine that, right?
Yeah, right. So I've brought it upon myself because I just keep walking forward.
Yeah.
I just like, all right, fuck it, dude. You're going to hit me. Like, that's part of this.
Yeah.
And I've accepted that. I accepted that really, really early because my dumbass. So I do Muay Thai.
Yeah.
And then on Wednesdays, the boxers spar. And boxing and Muay Thai, way different.
Yeah.
When you can kick, you can keep someone at bay way easier because they have to fear way more. When you're only punching, the skill level is so different. Yeah. And my dumbass. So this was like maybe 2-3.
I feel like that's always a good. If I could start every story with my dumbass.
Yeah.
There'd be a lot of stories that I could start.
This is honestly the reason why I won my tournament was because of this moment. So it was a Wednesday night. We don't spar on Wednesdays. We only spar on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then Wednesday, it's just an hour of pad work, and then you go home. And so after Wednesday, so it was Wednesday, we hit the pads, and then the boxers spar in the ring. Yeah. And I was like, fuck it, I wanna spar the boxers.
Yeah, let's do it.
My hands are trash. I can kick.
Yeah, they're probably
my
so
clinch is
much
great.
faster than you. Yeah.
My clinch is great. My kicks are fine.
Yeah.
Clinch is not great. Excuse me. My clinch is good for where I'm at my level.
Yeah.
And my kicks are good for where I'm at my level. My hands are.
Yeah.
They're all right.
Yeah.
They're
not boxing.
No, they're
level.
not boxing level, dude.
Those dudes are fast. So fast.
So, guy named Eddie. Shout out to Eddie. Whooped my fucking ass. But I learned that day that I can take an absolute ass whooping.
Yeah.
And still stand, make it through the entire round, and be like, all right, fuck it, let's go again. And so, dude, oh my God, it was so bad. So he's an ex-Marine, I think, or Army Ranger. I don't want to butcher that. He's not going to listen anyways. He doesn't even know me. But nonetheless, 200 pounds, shredded.
Solid.
Shredded, 5'9", 6 foot, maybe?
Yeah.
And so I'm putting my headgear on, and I'm standing on the ring, and I was like, fuck it, I'll go. And he was the only one left. And I was like, fuck it, I'll do it.
Yeah.
So I got in there.
That's the start of a lot of good stories too.
Yeah, that's another good start. So I get in there and just, woo! He beats my ass for 3 minutes. It was bad.
Yeah. And also, I think people hear 3 minutes, and they're like, it's not a long time.
Eternity.
So long in the ring, dude. That's why you see like
eternity.
UFC guys go 25 minutes.
Yep.
Like,
Locked in a cage for 30 minutes.
that's so long.
It is long, and so I have a story about that too. I can go all day about this,
Yeah.
but not to tell too many stories. But this one in particular is why I feel that I won the tournament is because he whooped my ass so bad. We got out of the ring. I'm not a boxer. We got out of the ring, and he was like, I didn't know what to expect, so I went 100%. And so I was like, yo. And so I was like, oh, I took that shit. Big ass dude, was swinging hard.
For sure.
Took it. And from then on, I realized I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I can do this.
I can do this.
Yeah, that's cool.
And so I just I'm pressure.
Yeah.
Always.
So you're Tyron Woodley now, and the other guys are Jake Paul, right?
I didn't watch the fight. To be honest, I didn't watch it.
Oh man, I wish I
try not to get into the money. I try not to give in. It's all. I still can't decide whether or not it's completely a scam or not. But
dude.
shout out to Jake Paul and them. Fuck it, they're making tons of money. They figured it out. They figured out the formula. I ain't mad at them.
They say that,
and he's a legit boxer.
I don't know, because Floyd.
He figured it out too.
You know Chael Sonnen? So he's
the name sounds familiar.
He's a big UFC guy, and
okay.
he has a podcast, and he talks a lot. He's like one of the best shit talkers ever in like sports history. He's really good, which is great because I love talking shit.
Yeah,
I love talking
it's fun.
shit. Yeah,
it's fun.
For sure. And like, I'd say I'm pretty good at it too. Like, if I can get under people's skin, like
it's
ruffle
important.
some feathers.
It's fun though because at the end, because you'll talk shit, and then at the end, you hug it out.
See, that is the sign of a mature athlete.
Yeah.
It's bad when you play with people that are immature and they don't recognize that.
Yeah. It's like, dude, we're talking.
I'll play basketball.
Yep.
And you know Devin at the gym. Like,
Yep.
I played with him. I'll talk the whole time.
Yep.
As soon as the game's over, it's like, hey man,
Yeah.
it's all love. Like we're
Always.
good.
Always.
Some people just take it really personally. They're like, dude, come on, man. Like, I'm 26. I'm not trying to prove anything.
I was trying to explain this the other day. That exact thing. It's like, dude, we're just talking shit in between this time frame and this time frame.
Yeah.
And then right after,
and as soon as it's over, dude, I'll help you get water.
Yeah.
You get a flat tire, I'm helping you. I'm like, I'm your boy, you know?
Yep.
So, yeah, some people get real upset about
it. But those people you just can't play with.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not fun.
For sure.
And
so, anyway, you got fight camp?
Yeah, so fight camp's starting. I don't know. She keeps changing the date, but I feel like it started, but I think it officially starts next month. Or a couple weeks.
So you're
like
going to
2 weeks
be
from now.
helping people get ready for
Yeah,
November?
so I'm not personally fighting, and I'm not necessarily coaching per se, but I feel like I have a big part in the actual sparring aspect.
Yeah.
One big thing I did, so my coach fought his first pro MMA fight in August.
Oh, shoot.
And so one thing that I did, and I thought it was good, was that I said, all right, So instead of us rotating partners today, just me and you, 5-minute rounds in the ring, 3 rounds. That shit, my nose is still fucked.
Oh, dude, I bet.
He hit me with an elbow that I was like, "Nyeh." But anyways, so I pride myself on my ability to just, all right, let's stand in there, let's brawl it out.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna do whatever I possibly can to challenge you mentally and physically.
Yeah.
But also make sure that you're ready.
Yeah.
And it's not that necessarily I know what you need to do, but I did go in there with a bad motherfucker, Jonathan Jones. I still talk to him on Instagram. Look, man, I don't really know how I won the fight, to be 100% honest. I just think the clinch was a little bit. But nonetheless, after the first round, I walked back to Brandon, and I was like, B, this dude hits hard as fuck.
Yeah.
I was like, this dude hits so hard. And so I do feel like, I did, for my level, I had a good fight. Put on a good show. Everyone was like, dude, that was one of the best fights of the weekend. That was the coolest part.
Yeah.
It wasn't even necessarily winning was cool.
Yeah.
But it was getting out of the ring and having other fighters be like, dude, that was fun to watch.
Yeah.
Like putting on a show.
That's
so I
cool.
get like, so I can understand like the Nick Diaz's, the Diaz brothers.
Oh, dude.
Those guys.
Yeah.
I can understand those types of fighters, the Donald Cerrones, like those guys. I can understand it because even if I would have lost,
Yeah.
I would have I still would have appreciated Jonathan as much as I do, even though I won.
Yeah.
And B, I would appreciate every single person out there that was like, dude, that was so much fun to watch.
Right.
So I get why the Diaz brothers, they're like, it's not that they don't want to win, but at the end of the day, they're just like, fuck, this is fun.
Yeah. You see his last fight?
Yeah.
You say, yeah, he could have finished the guy.
Dude, it's tough. It's tough because he couldn't push off that leg.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He couldn't push off that leg, so he didn't want to risk. He didn't want to risk jumping in there and getting knocked out right at the end, because he's still got to respect his power. Even though you have him rocked, you still have to respect his power.
And nobody's knocking out Nate Diaz.
Yeah, I know, but still, he just in case.
He's
and that was one of those things. He was pointing at him. It was fun.
His face is made of paper. But
oh, it's straight scar tissue at this point.
Yeah, he's like, you touch it and he starts bleeding. But
Straight
dude,
scar
you
tissue.
can punch him about 100 times before he starts feeling it. I bet. Like,
He's
a
beast,
bad
dude. He's
dude.
a beast. And his brother finally fights.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Nick
I'm
fights
excited,
later this
so.
year. We have some amazing fight cards coming up. I'm a huge UFC fan.
Oh, me too.
I love it. I
it's
love
awesome.
UFC. I love watching the fights.
So you got fight camp. Sorry, we're like,
I
feel like we're trying to
it's
wrap
okay.
up.
They're used to it
keep
at this
going
point,
on.
dude. It's all one big giant tangent. But yeah, so we're doing fight camp. Gonna help get the fight team ready. I'm not competing this November due to work. Plus, also, I don't know if my body can really even hold up.
Yeah.
If I do it again, I'll fight in April.
Yeah.
If I fight again, it'll be in April. And my biggest thing is, like I said, I enjoy just helping the dudes and the girls get ready.
Yeah.
Like, I don't mind being the punching bag. I was the punching bag for Brandon. He beat my ass.
Yeah,
for
I was
15 straight
I
minutes.
was really kind.
Yeah.
I wasn't going 100%.
We were. Well, the second and third round, we were swinging.
I hopped in an open mat at John's gym.
Oh yeah, that's where I go.
Yeah, my buddy Colin goes there, and he does BJJ.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I think we did like maybe 3 or 4 minute rounds.
Done.
But dude,
When another grown man is trying to hold you down,
yeah,
it's the most exhausting thing in the world.
I was all defense. I was stronger than him, and I was just like, nope.
Yeah.
And then I think he's like going for my neck, and then he has like my ankle and like some lock, and I think there's maybe one round where he didn't get me, and I almost got him. It was just like the most exciting thing in the world.
It is.
And then I mean, he like slipped away, but yeah, I think he might be a blue belt now.
Okay.
I don't know,
Oh yeah.
but he's good.
Oh yeah. Blue belts. I mean, blue belt is the minimum requirement that they say. Are we good? Not good? Was it recording? Not recording?
No, it's not.
It stopped. Like how long ago?
Notification for low battery. I have no idea.
How? You can check it.
How to check it? iPhone.
It's okay. I'll fix. I'll look at it in a second. I'll look at it in a second. Actually, here. Well, just hand it. You can just hand it to me now. Doesn't matter now. I can see how long ago it was. Low battery. How long? It couldn't have been that long because my phone was at like 90% when we started.
Oh shoot!
So we
We
could.
still got audio.
Hour and 44 minutes. Fuck. Well, guys, the battery died on my... Well, not battery died, but got a notification I fucked it about 20 minutes ago.
So, we got audio?
Yeah.
It's fine. That's where most of it.
Like the logo.
Yeah, that'll work. On the YouTube. Yeah. Well, all right. Well, we rambled.
There you go.
I rambled.
So you got fight camp. Anything else big?
So we're closing on the house. Well, closed on the house. We're selling it and then looking for another property to Airbnb.
Oh, sweet.
Maybe. Airbnbs are stressful, but the money is there.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
it's stressful. Long-term rentals, not as much money, but way less stressful.
As long as you find good tenants, man.
Yeah.
Heard some horror stories.
Yeah, it could get bad.
But it's
that's
pretty,
anything.
easy in Austin.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, you just got to do your due diligence. Don't skip out on the credit checks. Don't skip out on that. Pay for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Get that stuff done. That stuff's no, that doesn't necessarily tell you the character of that person, but look, you got to find people who are going to treat the space well.
Yeah.
You have to, because you can end up spending way too much money in repairs, and it's just not worth it.
For sure.
But yeah, so I got that coming up. But yeah, I mean that's really it, man. Just focused on this. Got focused on fight camp. Focused on the girlfriend.
Oh yeah. How long you give it this time?
Hmm.
How long you give it this time?
We'll see. No, we'll see.
All right. 6 months from now, I'll come up to you and be like, all right, man, y'all still together.
Yeah, right.
You better be
Fine,
making
yeah,
a decision.
double check.
That's probably my biggest. That's one of the things I'm pretty passionate about right now. It's like dudes our age that are like date somebody for like 12, 24 months. I'm like, dude, what else do you need, man? Like,
Right.
You like,
Have you not figured it out by now?
yeah,
You're not convinced?
yeah. Like, do you need to go? Like, how much longer? Like, just marry her.
Especially in
dude. Like,
Texas,
doesn't
if you're living together, guess what? You're already legally married.
matter.
Sorry, she already owns half your shit.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you sign that paper or not.
Yeah. So, but
Oh.
yeah, I've just met so many dudes that are been dating somebody for like 4 or 5 years. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, get it together, man. Like,
But you're
gonna commit? Like,
I don't know. It just
commit, you
depends.
know?
Like, getting married's not all that important. Like, or at least I don't see. I'm like, it's just another title. Like, it's another title, and it's just like, I get it. It's like the next step. But at the same time, it's like, if I love this person, who gives a fuck what we call each other? We're together. We're having fun. We're living life.
They might care.
Yeah, I was about to
Oh
say.
yeah, I mean they might. Yeah, sure. And then when
They
that
might.
when that conversation comes, you
Yeah,
have that
it's like
conversation, right?
Another level of commitment, but yeah, I
Yeah.
feel you.
Yeah, it doesn't. Like,
That's
I
why my
don't.
girl was like, "Hey, like 6 to 9 months. If I don't know, like, I'm gonna break up with you." And she was like, "All right, cool."
Fair enough.
Yeah. I was like, "We'll know by then."
Yeah, I mean, what?
She was like, "Yeah."
Yeah, because at that point you're just spinning wheels.
And then she
What's
was like, "Hey, we gonna do this or not?" So,
Yeah.
But she's on board. Like, I told her that, and most girls like, some girls are taken aback whenever I tell them that. But I just like, I looked at her and was like, "Yeah, like,
But
we're gonna figure it out."
It makes sense when you think about it, though.
For
It makes sense. Like, you're like, how much more do you really need to see? But I will say, though, dating someone and living with someone can be completely two different things.
It's true.
So there's always that probably should live together a little bit before you
Oh,
make
disagree.
that.
But
Oh,
that's all right.
okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. But yeah, I was just like, living together can be different.
Yeah.
Can be different. But
Yeah. Anyway,
each
cool.
their own.
Sweet, man.
Yes, sir.
That'd be awesome.
Well, shout yourself out again.
Yeah.
Even though I'm looking at the fucking camera that's not there no
oh
more.
yeah.
Fuck.
My name.
Which is also not good because I'm about to go out and I got no battery.
Man.
Fuck, dude. Yes, please.
There we go.
The fast charger. It's on the ledge over there. Are you done? God damn it. Yeah, I gotta go. It's on the desk-ish built-in thingy. Big bother.
Sweet.
I'm already.
Yeah. Shout out. Or not shout out, but my name is Michael Harris. Just, I don't know, living life.
And then your
Okay.
email was
mharris at ironoakwealth.com.
I'm pretty sure I have that email right.
You might.
That's the email that this invite went to.
No, that went to my personal one.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll give you my work one. Iron Oak Wealth. I'll shoot it to you.
Iron Oak
It'll be
Wealth. Iron Oak
good.
Wealth.
Yeah. Y'all have any questions about the market? I know it can be pretty scary and intimidating, but I try to take that away. So, no such thing as a bad question. Just,
Oh, yeah.
I'll shoot you straight.
Oh yeah. That's
That'd be good.
That's what it's about.
Cool.
I really appreciate you doing this, man.
Yeah, dude.
It was
We'll do
fun.
again.
I know we just tangented around and
Oh yeah.
kicked the shit and
Oh yeah.
kind of talked about finances, but
Yeah. Whole lot
It's
more to
fun
talk about.
nonetheless.
I'm gonna do it again.
yeah, we'll just do it again. Yeah, it's always fun.
I'll bring you a bang next time.
Yeah, appreciate you. You'll know next time. So bring you one.
Yeah.
But that was perfect. The placebo effect.
Oh yeah.
Boom. All right. Well, guys, we'll catch y'all later. Sorry the video cut out at an hour and 44, but you didn't miss too much. Deuces.